and WIVG Tunica, Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Brett is back. We got a lot of ground we got to cover, including yesterday's big stories about the Tigers and the Lawsons, a whole bunch of other things like that. Last time I looked, by the way, Brett, I don't know if you're watching baseball, but the Cubs. This tells
Save
me,
some of those runs, Dave.
This
Save some of those runs.
That we could be seeing something freeze over here. Because the Cubs are up 11-0.
No more of that sentimentality you wanted in 2016. No more embracing losing. Stop that. Y'all are winners now. Stop that.
They never beat the Brewers, and if they win today, Brett Norsworthy, they'll be a game over 500.
They will be.
Miraculous.
And we know, especially at this point in the year, if you get to 500 and then start, chopping a little wood, and you got Kyle Hendricks out there. Some call him Kyle Cy Hendricks on the mound. He can take care of a 10-run lead. But the Cubbies broke out the bats early and often and pounding the Brew Crew. You need to save some of those runs.
Yeah.
Can't do that, though.
I think that is probably right.
They come in bushel baskets.
The Cubs who were hitting 165 like a week ago, they'll take whatever they can get.
That's right.
They had 14 the other day against the Braves, and now they're doing this. So that is kind of fun. On a serious note, when I was a kid, I grew up in a pro town, but I think some of my early childhood memories were like Wilma Rudolph and how special the Olympics were. I don't know if it was that way for you growing up, but it was for me. The Olympics were really
I love
special,
the Olympics.
On a pedestal. And
love the Olympics. First Olympics I can vaguely remember was, and I'm not saying much, just kind of the idea of 68 in Mexico City and then riveted by 72. I still think the seminal moment for the Olympics, and it wasn't on the field of competition. We know what it was.
Right. We sure do. And that was
so we're both Olympic fans.
Israeli, yeah.
From,
so I bring
from
that
different,
up.
divergent upbringings.
Right. Well, I bring that up because
I grew up in a town of population 300, and you grew up in Chicago.
The Olympics are scheduled to start in exactly 3 months, right? Obviously, they were supposed to happen last year, but 3 months. They didn't happen last year because of COVID. Tokyo and Osaka, places where the Olympic Games are supposed to take place this year, Tokyo being the main, are preparing as we speak to go into another lockdown as coronavirus cases surge throughout Japan. This will be the third COVID shutdown of Japan since the pandemic began over a year ago. This is terrible news. When I saw this today, and I know it's not top story, but I just thought,
I fear the worst.
We are probably looking at something here. We already know fans aren't going to be there. We're already, these poor people that are athletes in training had to delay it a whole year, and here we are. It just seems to me like it'll be impossible for this really to happen.
It does, Dave, even on a scale back level, and what that will mean for so many people, but to the athlete, let's say to the aging athlete, that this was the last best shot at what they've worked at all their lives. And we know, and Gabe Kuhn producing today for us and in with us today for Drew Barrett, we know that even in big-time splashy team sports like Gabe's sport, football, even in those, some of the hardest work is when there's not a soul around. In that middle of that summer, when you're pushing those tires and you're up early and you're working out, and it's just you and your guys. For most of those Olympians, those sports, they're out there by themselves more times than not in anonymity, waiting for their moment when the world's watching. What it'll do for NBC, what it'll do for the Olympic movement, what it'll do to Tokyo, those proud, wonderful people that last hosted Summer Olympics in '64 in Tokyo, and it last hosted Winter in Nagano when in the '90s. But it will be jolting. And Dave, the trickle down, what it'll do for the NBA? There are a lot of NBA guys. They won't be glad, but they won't have to go through that, and they can start their rest and start their clock for next year. Yeah. NBA schedule might even start a week or so earlier because of it next year.
I will say this. You know who I really feel the most for is somebody like Simone Biles. Because Simone Biles, who won the Olympic gold in gymnastics at the 16 Olympics, was already becoming the oldest real favorite to win yet another gold. And I there's just no way that she would be able to wait another 3 years, which is what you're going to have to wait if this thing is canceled. So it's those athletes that had this window, and that window will be gone, that I really struggle the most for.
And for the kind of the anonymous sports, like the walking. I'm trying to think of, just some of the, really, really anonymous sports that we really don't ever talk about, except for every 4 years. And then all of a sudden we become experts at, modern pentathlon.
Yeah, right. I know.
Or we act like we are.
So yesterday the Lawsons joined the University of Memphis by signing commitment papers. And now there will be 7 newcomers, and there could be an 8th newcomer before this class is done. I counted yesterday, Brett, 13 players on this team, not counting Moussa Cisse if he were to come back, or they fill that position with another transfer portal really good player. But 13 at the moment. I said this yesterday. I don't know that this is the most talented team because I think you look at Finch and Keenan, you look at Derrick Rose and CDR, and the whole makeup of that team. But I think you can make the case this may be the deepest Memphis has ever been. However, somebody today brought up to me the '94 team, and I'd have to look up all the particulars of that '94 team, but I think that team had
94.
Yeah, 94.
You mean 95 that went to the Sweet 16 and lost to Arkansas?
Maybe that's it.
94 didn't end well.
Well, that's the one that loses
94
to Drexel,
had
right?
Lorenzen.
Yeah, that's that.
No,
but look at
96 lost to Drexel.
Oh, 96. All right, so maybe it's either 94, 95, or 96.
95 had Mingo Johnson, Lorenzen Wright, David Vaughn.
Michael Wilson? Chris Garner?
Yes.
So that's a pretty
yes.
That's a pretty deep team right there. Was Cedric Henderson on that team?
Mm-hmm.
That's 6. That team may be as deep as this team is.
But Dave, whoa. That team appeared that deep after we saw them and they played.
True.
I don't know
That's
that we
fair.
were talking about them like that in April. That was after they went out and they performed.
We were pretty positive it was going to be a pretty good basketball team. I can remember that for sure. I don't know if we had rating services like we do now, but when you take a look.
Yeah, that's what I want to slow down on.
You got all these 4-star kids. You got these 4-star kids plus these transfers that, one led his conference in scoring. I think it was the number 16 scorer in the country.
Right. For this exercise sake, on this team, 20 seconds to play coming out of the timeout, who's the clear out, go get you the bucket guy?
Well, I haven't seen Earl Timberlake yet.
That's one of the problems with saying how talented they are in April, because we really don't know.
But there's a bunch of different guys that possibly could be that. Nolly can get you points. DeAndre Williams can get. We know those guys can. I don't mind Quinones.
But both
with the
showed
ball in his
also
hands.
Inconsistencies. They both showed there was times that they could and times that they couldn't. This is now 4 straight Aprils and 4 straight June and July and August and September and Octobers that we have. And it's a good thing that we have Penny and Tiger Mania. Well, we know 3 times that we've had it that in the end it didn't end in much.
That's That is true. I did like the way the team finished this year, obviously. They won all those games in the end and won the NIT. I mean, they did fix some of the things in particular. They did not turn the ball over nearly as much in the NIT, nor did they struggle as much from the free throw line in the NIT. That's probably why they won the NIT. And you've got to fix those areas for sure next year, no matter who you've got.
I think still in need of a point guard.
Well, that just depends on is Davion Warren able to do that? Is Lomax going to be better this year? Would you play Quinones at that particular point? I think you've got three options now. And by the way, if Cisse doesn't come back, you might take somebody else that is a true point guard from the portal.
But again, one of the great things, one of the things accomplished by Penny Hardaway as head coach is the dynamism, the electricity, the hope, the panache of Tiger basketball. That's back. That's unquestioned. When the gates are swung wide open at FedEx Forum come November, and they will be, it's going to be real crowds next year. Might have to wear a mask game, I don't know, but it's going to be real crowds. Here come the crowds, especially with a year of being denied being able to go for most people. And that's wonderful. But then the hard part, winning ball games. That's the hard part. Because on the day he was hired, and people talking about what he was going to be able to do in recruiting, and he's done it. But those other coaches out there, Kermit Davis, Rick Barnes, the coaches in the AAC, they're just not going to sit back in the Waters part and they let him dominate college basketball.
No.
And those other coaches haven't.
No.
Frank Haith digs in and wants to win.
Yeah, and Frank Haith has had the better of Penny Hardaway thus far in their tenures, even when
a healthy Tim Jankovic will want to, and new coach at Cincinnati will want to. So, it's very good. Tiger basketball buzz is back. Now the winning has got to be back, and I think it will be.
I think it will, based on the way this team got better as the year went on, and frankly, I think that's happened almost the whole time that Penny has been the coach. He makes good adjustments. Even other coaches have commented about that. And the flaws,
and he said with us, he wants to start faster.
Right. And that's
been the problem.
I love what he said about scheduling, and I hope he's able to put all those things together. Louisville on a home-to-home basis, continue to play Ole Miss, play Mississippi State.
Play Tennessee.
Play Tennessee. I don't know if Tennessee will continue that. We'll see what happens. If Rick Barnes is willing to do that, he certainly was with Tubby. But that first game was not a pleasant thing, and then they got through it 2 years ago. Obviously, we didn't get to play the rubber match last year. I believe it will be on the schedule though this year. And look, Memphis has to have more chances for non-conference wins in order to get a better seeding. Now, Joe Lunardi, I don't know if you saw this, and this was before I think the Lawson signed. They had Memphis as a 5 seed. They had Houston as a 4 seed, and they had Wichita State in a play-in. So there were 3 teams from the American on this front end. Now, of course, obviously, it's way too early, but that's more promising than it was a year ago for sure.
Well, I don't know that's the case, because a year ago, Joe Lunardi doing long-range brackets, the Tigers were out there. The Tigers entered last year 27th in AP. That certainly correlates to being in the tournament. Dick Vitale, and there's no love like the love Dick Vitale has for the Tigers and for Penny Hardaway like it is in April.
Yeah.
Need that love transformed into February and March love.
It hasn't yet. I don't think last year they had 3 teams in the American in the tournament, though, because Wichita State certainly wasn't in there. I think Houston and Memphis were the 2, and that's all they ended up getting in were 2, and that part of that. And you don't have to worry this year, because we're going to be playing a lot of basketball games. We're going to be playing non-conference complimentary amounts. And
got to win them though.
You do, or at least a share of them that are, considered quad one wins. That was the missing ingredient for sure a year ago. We are busy today. Bruce Marshall will join us at 3:30. Jason Munz will talk this very thing, who writes the Tiger Basketball Beat for the Commercial Appeal. He joins us at 4. It'll be fun to talk with Barrett Jones. We can ask him about the new numbers rule in the NFL. Did you ever?
I'll take our 2 tackles we have around today, Gabe Kuhn and Barrett Jones.
Yeah,
Put them at tackle. I think I could win some ball games.
I know you could. I just can't understand what Tom Brady's complaining about with the number thing. It's like he's not looking at bodies or where they're coming from. He's just looking at numbers. He's really looking at numbers. That is just. And by the way, all the film study he does, you don't think each week he's going to see what number is on
He'll pick up on
that linebacker or that defensive lineman?
He'll adapt, won't he, Gabe?
Dave, I'm still trying to figure out if he's joking. Because, he's been around the game long enough. He's won 7 Super Bowls. He knows that you don't block by number, you block by a linebacker.
I don't get.
That's right.
You know what?
He played college against cats coming at him wearing number 9. Alabama always runs out a defensive tackle. It wears like number 6 or something.
Here's what Rob Parker said on The Odd Couple, which follows us every night. Rob Parker said, Tom Brady is worried that with all of these uniform number changes that it will knock his number and his uniform off the top sales list, that he's looking at his checkbook. He's got so much money, though, he wouldn't be worried about that.
Never thought I'd see Tom Brady being the get-off-my-lawn guy. Like, so the old man yelling at clouds, but here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. It's always crazy. So we have Barrett Jones, and that'll be a lot of fun. Andy Schiffman on the NFL, that'll be coming your way at 5. Tim Doolin on baseball at 5:30. Did I tell you the Cubs are up 11-0 last time I looked? Wow!
Look out!
Look at that. I mean, that's
save some of those.
I mean, that's just miraculous. That's all I can tell you.
One of the things I do, I love about betting on basketball is that always you can find new player props. And this weekend, and I wrote this down for later. Let's see here. 22 NBA games over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 22 games. You can find player props, same game props, and that's what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook. You can combine all those props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. It's called the Same Game Parlay Bet, and you can only find them at FanDuel. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Just place a bet in FanDuel. They'll refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. And right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 in site credit back each day if your parlay falls one leg shy with same-game parlay insurance. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Try same-game parlay. Use promo code CASH at sign-up. Must be 21 or older. Present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. This hour brought to you also every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com appropriately. Call them at 901-362-8833, Lexus of Memphis, offering the golden opportunity late April sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and special lease options. Here's one way to get the pollen off your car. Go buy a new Lexus. There's no pollen on those cars at 2600 Ridgeway. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new flagship 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is the NBA team in this city. The Memphis Grizzlies will be in Portland tonight in a game that, had things gone well, had Memphis maybe really tried to win, maybe this would have been a game for 6th place. Instead, it's a game in which the Grizzlies will try and hold on to 8th place in the Western Conference. Will they play 11 guys like they did? Well, actually, they played like 14 guys last game, but 11 when it really counted. Will they play Justice Winslow at point guard? Will they continue to experiment like you would in the first 10 or 15 games of the season? Will they do that when these games might mean playoffs? Stay tuned. We'll find out later tonight.
I love it when our top story resembles the Police, the musical act, when they had their great album Synchronicity, because we just had that. My top story, Grizzlies in Portland tonight against the Trailblazers. Grizzlies need it for the 8th. Portland needs it for the precarious 6th they're trying to hold on to. Justice Winslow, he's back. Jaron's back. Grizzlies again versus Portland on Sunday. Then they will go back to Denver on Monday. And then 7 of the next 12 at FedEx Forum. This clearly the most important stretch of the season. It's down to the good stuff in the NBA.
It is. I just go back to what I just said. I truly, truly hope they will try to win these games and not just experiment.
Not top story of the day.
Well, this news is so sad. The Terrence Clark tragedy, the former
just awful
Kentucky Wildcat player who makes you wonder if he was not texting or looking down or distracted or something. But sped in California through a light, struck a car, went into a wall. On top of that, was not wearing a seatbelt. That is a 19-year-old life with so much promise that will totally go unfulfilled. I was reading some thoughts from John Calipari, who has rushed to California.
They were very poignant.
Yes, rushed to California to be with the family. If you don't think John Calipari doesn't care about his players, because this young man was no longer going to be a part of his team. He was just one of those young men that John who did mentor just a year ago. But it is so sad to me. And what a waste of life by just not being careful.
Dave, can you imagine that young man's mother that was at his side when the doctor said, it's over?
Well,
You've lost him.
I can. I lost a sister at an early age, you know that. So I can really relate to that family. I know how long it takes for the parents to return to some form of normalcy.
Forever?
It's almost forever. It's certainly years for them to feel any kind of joy about anything in life. It is a life that has changed. It is other people's lives that are changed. It is a real tragedy what happened with Terrence Clark today, or last night.
And you're right about John Calipari. You know, a year ago he was recruiting him. And I'm sorry, I don't remember Terrence Clark in a game this year at Kentucky. I think he was injured and scuffled with an injury all year.
He played in a few, but I think he only played in like 5 or 7 games, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember him in an SEC game. But you know, a year ago he very coveted. John Calipari, I'm not trying to give him the International Peacemaker Nobel Prize award or anything, but to people, and sometimes I do, take shots at John Calipari. First instinct was get on that plane, go to Los Angeles, and be with that family,
right,
and try to be a friend. I think is quite something. My not top story. NFL, they're having their big, bawdy, real-life draft next week. Number one sport seems untouched by anything. They're going to have the draft hugs from the commissioner, from Roger Goodell, everything back. We needed the draft last year, and we have needed the NFL to lead like they're doing, to lead us back to real life, and they've done it, and they've done it well, at times against heavy resistance.
The thing I like today when it came to that kind of news, if you are fully vaccinated now and you're an NFL player or staff member, you will no longer need COVID testing. So they are starting to drop protocol as we get closer and closer, and as you mentioned, we will be having the draft. This is a good story today. I agree. This is why I love the Kansas City Chiefs. They traded away their first-round pick and 3 other picks over 2 years that are lower-round picks to get an all-pro offensive tackle. I know.
They need it.
Gabe Kuhn, like your eyes are lighting up. Finally,
that's where you win.
Finally, we're getting some recognition for the real key players on a football team.
That's going to be a very, very good offensive line. Got Kyle Long coming back from retirement. Got Laurent Duvernay-Tardif coming back from helping with COVID-19. You got a full stocked O-line.
That's the doctor that had opted out, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
medical doctor.
That line to protect that quarterback, oh, my goodness. They're good for 4 or 5 years. That's just a brilliant move in my mind. So now we are underway. Those are our top and our not top stories. We go to Vegas. The Golden Man is standing by. That is Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. He comes your way in just a minute.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your new Kia at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. I've got a 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG, or $129 a month lease, just $31.99 due at signing. And a 2021 Kia Soul, $159 per month lease, $30.99 due at signing.
And I see you got 2021 Kia K5, built in America, $184 a month lease, $30.99 due at signing. They're all 36-month leases.
Plus our industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Senatobia, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, zero security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344-837, MSRP $20,655, Soul M777-2135, MSRP $21,130, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021, dealer stock only.
You've probably seen him, heard about him, passed him while he was working, but you never thought you'd need him until you do. And when you do, you really need Papa Lock of Memphis. Papa Lock of Memphis is all about locks and keys and more. Lose your car key? Papa Lock can make new ones. Moving. Don't take the key you're handed. Lots of other folks have been handed that same key. Papa Lock will rekey your home so you're safe. Need more than a new key? Papa Lock is expert at installing access control so you know who and when there is entry of your home, office, warehouse, and more. Multiple properties? Let Papa Lock of Memphis set up a master key system for you. Call 901-527-6737. That's 901-527-OPEN. Papa Lock of Memphis, your trusted locksmith.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party. To Vegas we will go in a minute. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Great chance this weekend to get on over to the Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road. because the pool sale's still going on. They're going fast. I don't want you to miss out again this summer. Recall, all the pools were sold out last year at Family Leisure, other places. I don't know why, but they went like crazy last year. They're going to do it again this year. Get it now while you can. Same thing with spas, in stock, ready for delivery. You can swing in the spring with a brand new play gym. And may I recommend, because they have it available, professional installation. Going to put these young kids on these swing sets. They are so cool, but I want them definitely put in correctly. Let the pros do that. Oh, and by the way, once you got the play swing in there, you got to have patio furniture to watch all the kids play. Look, you'll use your backyard more when you find comfy, beautiful, state-of-the-art patio furniture. They got them in stock with some select sets up to 20% off. Just get to Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Before we go to Vegas, do you remember, Brett, Tyler Mariucci by any chance? That name familiar
I do not,
to you?
Dave. I'm sorry.
He is the son of Steve Mariucci. And Tyler, a great kid, was for a hiccup, and I mean a short period of time, maybe a year and a half. He was an assistant athletic director at the U of M. He was with Tom Bowen. Tom Bowen brought him here, and he has got his first head athletic director's job. He will be at California Baptist, which I must confess I'm not all that familiar with, but congratulations to Tyler Mariucci. There were a bunch of Tiger fans that really liked Tyler, and I'm sure they're really happy for him.
I did not know him, but I obviously now that you mentioned Tom, they go back to Bay Area NFL probably connections.
Go back to the Niners, because don't forget Steve Mariucci now with the NFL Network. Steve was with the Niners, and Tom Bowen had a stint with the 49ers. So in the meantime, let's go to Las Vegas. The man from the Gold Sheet, that would be Bruce Marshall, joining us now. I'm really curious. Brett and I haven't had a chance to talk about this. He was not with us yesterday. There are new rules in college football, new rules that could be happening with onside kicks in the NFL. What do you, as a line setter and as a historian, think about some of these new proposed rules, especially the overtime in college football? Bruce? Uh-oh.
Hey, Bruce.
Have we got him?
Right there. Hey, Bruce.
We are going to recall him. So just to go over this really quickly, onside kicks, you'll have an option next year because I think there were only like 3 successful onside kicks last year in the National Football League. You can go 4th and 15 at your own 25. If you make the first down, you get a whole new set of downs. That will be one option. In college football, you have to go for 2 after the first overtime, and then when there is a third overtime, there will be 1 play from the 3-yard line from both teams. That is it.
Yeah.
They're trying to shorten the game.
I know I'm in the distinct, maybe party of one minority. I don't like overtime in any way. I don't like pro. I don't like college. I sure don't like it in college. It turns the players, especially the big guys, the offensive and defensive linemen, it's walking zombies by the end of the game. Maybe this will shorten it. I know we're not ever going back to ties. I've lost that one. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't like any of them, and we know why they're getting rid of the onside kick because it probably is the most dangerous play in all of sport.
Well, it's dangerous, and the way they have it set up, it's almost impossible now to execute. So this would
just
be,
move on from it.
This would be a different way to do all of that. The average overtime college football game went 16.4 plays. So this should knock that down a little bit. And so I actually am okay with that because I do like settling things and not settling for a tie. In the meantime, Bruce Marshall, we try this again, our golden man from the Gold Sheet in Las Vegas. What do these new rules, football in the NFL and overtime in college football, what do they do for you with lines and with history?
Well, I to be determined on all of that. I don't know that it's going to make any difference on the lines, the way they're set. Though, I mean, we'll have to see. Historically, it will sort of change the context. We look at some of the results, perhaps, especially in overtimes. But it's more just a practical, like Brett was saying a second ago here. I mean, and you were saying, it's about getting these games over with and not turning the players into zombies by the end of 5 or 6 overtimes. That's the benefit of going for 2 after the second into the second overtime now. But I think the onside kick thing. Yeah, I understand why they'd like to reduce the chance of the injuries that can happen a lot. I mean, that's the most rugby-like play in football, though it was always kind of exciting from a fan's perspective, but it was kamikaze duty,
it sure was.
It was
suicide.
I understood the danger part of it, but I'm just generally against too much tinkering with the rules, and
me too.
And it's just they're going to keep tinkering every year with this stuff, and goodness knows what the game's going to look like in 10 years. So that's my general.
And we're on that tangent with baseball now. You can just put any suggestion in Bobby Manfred's suggestion box, and he'll give it a whirl. And I'm with you on that, Bruce. So, Bruce, I know it's not happening. It's very draconian, but we're not going back to ties. What's the best tie football game you've ever been to? And I think the most famous tie in college football history was Harvard and Yale.
Oh, I would beg to differ. I think the most famous football
Michigan
tie,
State, Notre Dame.
Michigan State, Notre Dame, 10-10 tie, Ara Parseghian and Duffy Doherty.
Played for it.
Either of those two. You go back further, Notre Dame Army 0-0 in 1947. Best tie. I mean, one of the best games I ever saw. And I'm the only guy who's going to remember this. There was a 1974 game between Cal and USC, November 2, 74. And Steve Bartkowski was the quarterback for Cal. 15-15 tie. It was a rollicking game. It was wild down the stretch. And at that moment, I thought there's no way I was there. And Jim Breach missed a short field goal at the end that would have won it for Cal. There is no way I thought USC could become a national champion that year. And in one poll, it did, even at that point. So after that, things just fell in place for USC. That was a dramatic tie. But you can the best game tie. Yeah, I Notre Dame famous. Yeah, best one was Harvard Yale, though, no question. That's the most exciting tie. So I would actually vote for that one as the most historic and best tie.
Which one claimed in the
game? Yeah.
Which one was it, Harvard or Yale, that claimed in the student newspaper that one of them won, but listed the score as the tie in the headline?
Harvard. I said Harvard beats Yale 29-29. I mean, to score 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions in the last minute was,
that's pretty cool. What's the best tie? Best NFL tie?
Best NFL tie. Boy, this is I got to go back and think about this one because they've been. This would be a regular season tie, and God, there is so many of them. Why did the Rams-Colts first game in '67, the 24-24, stick out in my mind? It was a great game. Rams had to come back, and then Quincy Williams had to pick off Johnny Unitas at the end of the game to preserve the tie and sort of keep the Rams in the race. That's just the first that came to my mind. I could, if I give me 10 minutes, I'll think of 25 other NFL games, but that's the one that came
I know
to my
you
mind.
will. I know you will.
Bruce, so that 74 Cal Bear USC game at the Coliseum or Strawberry Canyon?
Coliseum. And Cal should have won. That
Very
was Mike
good.
White. Is Bartkowski. That was really a game where he
Chuck
he really
Muncie
shined to me.
for Cal that day?
Oh, what's that?
Was Chuck Muncie on Cal that day?
Yeah, he was there too, and he was there. Cal was very good for a couple of years there. Never got to the Rose Bowl, but that was Bartkowski, Muncie, Howard Strickland, and Mike White, one of his better.
They came to Little Rock in that stretch too, Bruce. I think they came to Little Rock in '75 with Steve Bartkowski. And of course, USC came to Little Rock in '74 and got thumped 22-7 by Frank Broyles and Jimmy Johnson's defense on a night that he told Dennis Winston and I'm going to give the G version of this. If Anthony Davis goes to the concession stand, you go with him and make sure you put mustard on his hot dog.
Yeah, that's right. I think Cal came in, it was 71 or 72, went into Little Rock and got whipped in its first game. That might have been Ray Wilsey's last game, but it was 71, 72. I'm thinking it was maybe 71 because that was the year before the USC game down there in 72. So I'm thinking it was 71 with Cal.
It is amazing to me, Brett, when you bring up these games in Little Rock, how many, I mean, fabulous college games, maybe not
Magical.
as many as Legion Field, but I mean a lot of really
It was close.
Historic games at that little
Dave
ballpark.
Magical, and it's why in 2012 Ole Miss and Arkansas played there. And he was going. He didn't go on my encouragement, but I was so glad that Eli Savoy from our station, he was going, and I was so glad for him to see it. And he saw a good game that day, but last second field goal for Ole Miss to win that day. He saw a good game, and I was trying to tell him just how magical that place was, especially in the 70s and even into the 80s. A great Andre Ware, Quinn Grovey duel in 89 there, and it really had the better games than Fayetteville ever had, Bruce.
It did, and by the way, Cal came into Little Rock in 71, so that would have been the opening game in 71. Remember, they played that great game against Stanford in 70, which I wrote about, but the next year Cal came in and got roasted 51-20. That was Ray Wilsey's last year at Cal, and Mike White came in the next year, but that's the year Arkansas got him 71 opening game in Little Rock.
Since we're talking different venues, and I don't think we've ever asked you this, have you got a favorite place to watch a game? What is your favorite venue? Is it the Rose Bowl?
No, Army.
Oh,
Mikey Stadium.
I had that in my five of my five.
Good, very good, Bruce.
Army's a
you, Dave, have. I haven't. That's good.
Yeah, Army's good.
I got to get there.
Yeah, I mean it's better. Listen, Annapolis is good too, just the atmosphere and all, but the setting where in the stadium at Navy, you've been there, Dave. I mean, it's not really on the water there.
No.
Annapolis itself, you go a half mile away, you're downtown by the water. That's great, but the stadium is not as much. Mikey, listen, Army, West Point's out there away. They're not too much around it up there, but if you get up there, and can have a view of the Hudson River Valley in the fall when the leaves are turning, there is nothing better than that.
Oh, you're right.
It's not that easy to get to, though. So that's the one thing about
the
Army.
bend in the Hudson River that you see from Mikey Stadium.
Yep.
That is the best view of any press box. The Rose Bowl is probably second.
I got cold chills.
What I like about what is it called? Navy Stadium?
Navy Marine Corps Stadium.
Navy Marine Corps Stadium. At
Jack Stevens Field, yeah.
What I think is cool about that place is, you know how when you walk into stadiums and you will see numbers that are being retired or names of guys
Gator
like
Bowl,
the Ring
1978.
of Honor. What you see are every battle the United States Navy or Marines have ever been engaged in, and it's printed on the walls
those were must-win games, Bruce.
Oh, they were, and it is really you get. You get goosebumps when you walk into that stadium and see that stuff. I do anyway.
When you see Guadalcanal and Midway Islands up there, that's pretty good.
Have you started on any college football preparation, Bruce? Have you started looking at some teams? I know you're not close to maybe letting the top 25 go, but I know the summertime's always good for that at the goal sheet.
Yeah, and I won't do that until probably into June. It's still a little bit soon. I'll wait for more of the preview magazines to come out. Some teams are still finishing up spring football. Not that matters too much anyway, but I usually wait until about June. This year we got more going on. I mean, certainly last year we didn't have anything going on, but the NBA and NHL are going in their regular seasons into mid-May, and then the playoffs start. So it's a little bit more active on the calendar than we normally get, which isn't all that bad.
And I imagine, and you mentioned this to us, I think it was last week, how draft betting has become such a big thing. What is the best prop bet or the most sure bet you see out there right now pertaining to the NFL draft?
Yeah, I am not sure because I haven't looked at all the props yet. I'm preparing my own draft preview here and seeing where it goes. I'm sure there are some quarterback props here, and if you're going to get how many are going to go in the first 10 picks? I've seen as many as five projected there, and that would throw Mac Jones and Trey Lance into the top 10. So, we'll see. There's interesting odds. I mean, some of these on the quarterbacks in the first round, under numbers 5.5. Now, the running back number over is a half. Now, you're laying a price, so they're thinking Najee Harris will probably go somewhere in there. Offensive lineman, this is one that's near pick'em. Most of the offensive linemen you see are probably going to go near the end of the first round. It's 6.5, and they've got that price about even both ways. The running back prop is priced way to the over because they only think there might be one, and that's all they're doing. Tight end prop, interesting, over 1.5 plus 325. We know Kyle Pitts is going to go. Is anybody else going to go in the first round? So there's some position things that are pretty good. In colleges, Alabama's got a total of 5.5. How many first-round Crimson Tide guys go? 5.5, and that's minus 200. So they're pricing that like it's going to win.
All right, my friend, enjoy the weekend, and there is plenty of NBA. I think there's 22 games, as Brett told me a little bit earlier. We got NHL, too, and a lot of Major League Baseball where the Cubs are absolutely killing the Milwaukee Brewers. Did I mention that, by the way, that the Cubs are killing the Brewers today? They are
three different occasions you brought that up.
I just wanted to be sure. I don't. With me, I tend to forget things, and that never happens.
Okay.
Where the Cubs beat the Brewers, for goodness sake. Although the last time I looked, that 11-0 lead was 11-2, but I think they're going to run out of innings. Bruce, how do we get more of you?
Thanks, Dave. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. We got picks every day. We got NBA every day. We write it up for the Gold Sheet Hoops, and within the next week, have some NFL draft stuff there. Goldsheet.com, my picks there, also at Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Bruce.
You too, guys.
Have a great weekend.
The Golden Man from the Gold Sheet. That is Bruce Marshall. Brought to you in part by Supercuts. Supercuts open for business with still a real safe distance within all of their salons. There's 15 of those now, and they still have, as I mentioned, that safe salon commitment. That was the protocol that were put together, a partnership, you could say, between Supercuts and some of the top infectious disease doctors. It's all about sanitization and spacing, and they've got plenty of that. And they've been doing business throughout this whole thing. So go to supercuts.com. You'll learn more about that commitment, and you'll find out which of the 15, it started with one 30 years ago. There's 15 Supercuts now. The Czech family does just an amazing job. Which one is closest to you? Supercuts.com will let you know. Then you'll walk in. You'll be different when you walk out. Because when you walk out of Supercuts, you'll look marvelous. We take the time out. We'll put a wrap on this very first hour on this Friday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they're doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
Are you looking for a new job or a better career opportunity? Highline Warren, a leading distributor and manufacturer of automotive aftermarket products, is holding a hiring event April 24th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bring your resume. Highline Warren is hiring for multiple warehouse positions. Great employee benefits include health, dental, vision, 401k, competitive pay, and more. Check out all the open positions at highlinewarren.com/careers. The hiring event is Saturday, April 24th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 4500 Malone Road. Highline Warren is an equal opportunity employer.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wollo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up, yell at the feeling, sing if you're with me, yeah.
Welcome back in. I think it was earlier this week or late last week that you mentioned the Bears 30 for 30 on ESPN.
Last week I did.
Yeah, and in that 30 for 30, there was a really charismatic, I think, participant, because he was always charismatic, and that is Bears legend, defensive lineman, actually was a pro wrestler for a little while, Steve McMichael. News came out today. Steve McMichael has been diagnosed with ALS and apparently is declining rather quickly. Boy, what just a
terrible news.
Horrible news, horrible disease.
We know where that's going. And the great article in the Chicago Tribune today, it mostly said, and he said, I have no chance. Nobody does against it. Nobody. Mm-hmm. You talking about undefeated, untouched in the disease world. And that's a lesson. We're talking about great games in Little Rock, Dave. I saw Steve McMichael in one in 1979, an Arkansas 17-14 win over Texas. I was sitting in section 39 with my friend Bryce Fletcher. I hope he's listening. And it was a great day, one of the great college football games I've ever been to. And last year when I got to be around and see Coach Monty Kiffin a lot at Ole Miss, he was D coordinator that day for Arkansas. Huh. And in the victory celebration, Lou Holtz lured him from Nebraska to run his defense from being the great Nebraska D coordinator and player that Coach Monty Kiffin was, and real revolutionary on the defensive side. But in victory celebration that day with a good friend of mine, a defensive back, Randy Wessinger, he and Monty Kiffin in celebrating, they were just rolling around like in a ball together after the game that day. And Coach Monty Kiffin and I, we laughed about it, and we called Randy one Friday night last year from where Ole Miss stayed on Friday nights last year. And Steve McMichael was on that Texas team that day. And I mean, people say low-scoring games aren't great games, 17-14, and it felt like a 1-0 baseball game. Felt all day long that one mistake, one boo-boo, one big play, and Gary Anderson had the big play for the Razorbacks that day, and another one of those classics at War Memorial, bounded on the north side by Markham Street.
1-0 baseball games, like 17-14 football games, means that every snap has meaning. Every pitch has
Everything.
meaning, and that's why you stay so focused.
And one boo-boo.
Well,
and Steve McMichael, he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. Is he in Canton? He should be.
I don't think he is.
Dan was great. Dan Hampton was great on the other side, and Dan was a rookie that year with the Bears. He was not in that game in Little Rock that day. His last year at Fayetteville was in 78, or Arkansas was in 78, and then Steve McMichael came to the Bears in season of 80. So, boy, the Bears were drafting well in those years too, weren't they?
Well, listen, you look at that defensive line. You had, as you just mentioned, you had Hampton, McMichael, Richard.
That's enough.
Richard Dent.
Richard Dent.
Richard Dent was probably the best of all of them. And don't forget the Fridge. How about that for a defensive
later.
front?
How about linebackers? Singletary, Wilson, and from Florida, was it Marshall?
Yeah. Who?
Was it a linebacker named Marshall? Yeah.
Wilbur Marshall.
Wilbur Marshall,
Wilbur Marshall, and Al Wilson,
and then
Mike Singletary.
And then secondary, Plank, Fensick,
Duerson.
Duerson.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that was the best defense I think I have ever seen. Yeah, I really believe it was. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, we'll talk about this mighty Tiger roster. 13 guys on that roster. At least for now, there could be 14. Every one of them can play, we think. At that point, well taken by Brett earlier, because a lot of these guys, they came with 4 stars. Will that translate? We do know Nolly, Quinones, and Williams can play. That is for sure. Jason Muntz from the Commercial Appeal will get into all of this with us in just a minute.
The Jeep Celebration and Ram Truck Month is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Check out 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $22,490 or $287 a month. Command the road in your 2021 Dodge Charger XST. We Gossett at $29,499 or $394 a month. And if you're ready for some adventure, 2021 Fiat 500 X-Pop all-wheel drive, $21,990 or $279 a month. And they're not leases, you own them. We Gossett all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, so drive past the rest and come to the best. 1901 Covington Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade MPM 44,788, MSRP 26,240. Charger MH5 12,542, MSRP 32,860. 500X MP 88,7786, MSRP 26,830. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/21 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County. Get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't. And thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You ready for a new ride? We got Gossett and Gossett Kia Covington Pike. And Bobby J is the man to put you in a new Kia today. It's less than $5 a day. 2021 Kia Forte, $129 a month lease, $31.99 due at signing. Find your soulmate with 2021 Kia Soul, $159 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. And 2021 Kia K5 built in America, $184 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, peace of mind you can trust with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
36-month leases, 0 security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344-837, MSRP $20,655. Sold M777, $2135, MSRP $21,130. K5, MG 005560, MSRP $25,725. 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Happy Friday afternoon. Weekend almost here. Nice to have you aboard. Wallow and Stats with you until 6. Drew has the day off. Sitting in, Gabe Kuhn as our producer. Tonight, the Grizz in Portland. That'll be a late game. Could have been a game for 6th place, to be honest with you. Now the Grizzlies have to win to hold on to 8th place. So, Grizz are front and center tonight, but yesterday it was the Tigers' day. They picked up 2 more players, one from the portal, one high school, both from the same family, actually coming back into the Memphis family. That would be the Lawsons. So now the Tigers have 13 players that can all play the game. It's the deepest team that I can remember at least since the mid-'90s. I think that is a fair assessment. We bring in Tiger beat writer. Always a pleasure to talk with Jason Munz on what he thinks about this class. Is there enough minutes? There's only one ball. How will all of this work with really the deepest team I can remember the Tigers having for many, many years?
That is the question of the day, Dave. We'll see. Penny is not. He has shown time and time again over his years since he's been named the head coach that he is not shy about bringing in as much talent as he could possibly get, and then figuring it out from there. It appeared just a few weeks ago that after, the way this season went, where, you bring in a pretty highly rated junior college player in Amon Rand who leaves. You have Lance Thomas, who played somewhat sparingly last, 2 seasons ago, and figured he was in line for more minutes as a third-year player within this program. You saw that he saw that wasn't going to happen, so he left. There's been no really no secret that the first half of this past season, that people thought they should have been playing more minutes, and it was causing some issues within the locker room. There was, the word selfish was being thrown around a lot, and once they got that ironed out, then they got much better. But part of getting that ironed out was losing some people, losing Ahmad Rand, losing Lance Thomas, eventually Alex Lomax getting hurt. And so it all worked itself out. But when Boogie Ellis and DJ Jeffries and Damian Ball and Jordan Nesbitt, when they all left, when they all put their name in the transfer portal, you thought maybe Penny might decide he doesn't want to, go down that same road again. Maybe he goes after guys who aren't quite as hungry for a ton of minutes. But here we are, and he's brought in a high-profile recruit from Miami. He's brought in a guy who plays 35 minutes a game at Hampton last year, and now he's got Chandler and Jonathan Lawson who are going to want to play their minutes. And so I feel like Penny has clearly demonstrated that his MO is let me bring in the best possible players I can, the most good players that I can find, good to great players that I can find, and we'll figure it out from there.
Jason, when we said goodbye to you just a couple of Fridays ago, we have you on Friday. You're kind enough to join us on Friday. I said, I think we'll be checking back with you soon. And today when I texted you, I said this last few weeks of the off season has almost been better than the season. And that has kind of been the MO for the Coach Penny Hardaway years. The off seasons are fantastic. I mean, a lot of hope, a lot of hype. His words, not mine, a lot of smoke. And even with us on Wednesday, he's not backing down at all on setting that bar very, very, very high. But do you think, as the beat writer, do you think the roster today is better than the roster that was the victorious NIT team?
Ooh, man, that is a really good question. Let me first start by saying that these last few weeks have been fantastic.
Unreal.
Like it's been great theater. It's been, really nice. It's been entertaining. It's been all of that stuff. Especially from the seat that I'm in.
A lot of news.
A ton of stuff to write about and really dig into. So, there's that. But whether this team now, this roster now, is better than the roster they had that won the NIT championship, you could make a case for it, certainly. I mean, just look no further than yesterday. When you've got a guy who, in his second season as a collegiate athlete, was a pretty key, rotational player, yes, but a key player nonetheless off the bench for a Sweet 16 team in Oregon. Talking about Chandler Lawson. I mean, that's a pretty good piece to add. His younger brother, Jonathan Lawson. Some people, I think he's like the 91st rated recruit by the 247 Sports Composite, computer composite ranking system. But I think he's all the way up in like the top 60, as high as a top 60 recruit, I think by ESPN. So, that's pretty good too. Earl Timberlake from Miami. He averaged, I think, like 9.5 points a game. He didn't play much because he was hurt most of the season. But, I mean, this is a guy who still, he was considered a one-and-done player out of high school going into Miami. The last mock draft that I saw by ESPN, he's like the 20th pick overall, expected to be the 20th pick overall in next year's draft. So I would say, and I wrote this earlier this week, I posed the question, what if Penny Hardaway already has, and this is before the Lawsons committed, what if Penny Hardaway has already done enough? Like, what if he's already at a point where his roster is better? And the case could be made that yes, it is better. And this was before the Lawsons. I mean, Davion Warren and Earl Timberlake averaged together 30.5 points and like 11.5 rebounds combined last season, and that was already better than the combined points and rebounding averages of Boogie Ellis, DJ Jeffries, and Damian Ball. So, and we're not even talking about Josh Minot, John Camden, Sam Onu, the high school signees that they announced officially earlier this week. So, I think it's certainly debatable, but a pretty strong case could be made that yes, the roster that Memphis has put together right now is better than the roster they finished the season with just less than 4 weeks ago.
I would say unequivocally, and I'll give you the reasons why. I think this year's group is already better. So let's start with the 3 players from last year's team that are coming back. They were the 3 best players the team had. Williams, yep. Quinones, and Nolly were the 3 best players on the team last year. The guys that are leaving, DJ Jeffrey started to play really good down the stretch. I hated that he left, so I'm not saying that I'm happy about it, but I think he's been replaced. But he also led the team in turnovers, and it wasn't until the end of the year that he started to play. Boogie Ellis, we all know, is an up-and-down guy. And unfortunately for Boogie, probably until late and down the stretch of the NIT, there were more down nights than on nights. And frankly, if you think about it, he did not even play as much in the Boise game, the semifinal game in the NIT. They had to take him out to bring in a defensive player from a guy that's now gone in Damian Baugh.
And fairly one-dimensional.
Yes.
Should be pointed out.
Oh, yeah. I think that's fair. You've replaced these guys. Now, remember, the 3 best ones are here. You're replacing them with 4 high school kids that are in the top 100, all 4 stars or better. Timberlake, as you just mentioned, who's in a mock draft. There was not one player on the Memphis team that was in a mock draft for this coming year. Mm-hmm. And
Boogie's in it for next year at the 22 draft.
Is he?
At NBA draft lottery.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's the 58th pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that happens for him. And then you brought in the leading scorer of a conference, who, by the way, was the second best defensive player in that conference, according to the votes. So I think you've more than made up through the portal and through recruiting of what you had as backups. And Ahmad Rand and Lance Thomas, they can't touch what appears to be on the bench that you've got this year. Plus, you're bringing back an experienced point guard in Lomax. Some people think that may not be enough. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I really do think, to answer that question, Brent, this team is definitely a better team. And I think this team should be an NCAA team unless something crazy really happens. And that would be really a downer for all of the fans, because I think, with that all those storylines you were talking about with Penny come expectations. I guess my next question for you, though, is why do you think Boogie and DJ in particular left the team? They were getting minutes. Those guys, and even Baugh to a certain extent, not the same. He was getting, at least he played in every game. But why in particular DJ and Boogie?
I think you said they were getting minutes. I just think it wasn't enough for them, honestly. I think, without looking at them off the top of my head, I think Boogie was averaging right around 24-ish minutes a game, and DJ was probably right around the same.
I think DJ was about 21, really.
Yeah, so I think both of those guys and the people around them couldn't get over the fact that they weren't starting, consistently. I know Boogie started a lot of games there toward the end, but that's after Alo got hurt. He was starting before Alo got hurt, but he really wasn't. He was a starter in name only, essentially, while Alo was on the floor and healthy. But I think that they, along with the people around them, they all thought that those guys needed to be not only starting but also playing, averaging 30-plus minutes a game. Now, when you look at it, nobody was averaging 30-plus minutes a game for Penny Hardaway. Landers Nolley at 27.4 minutes per game was the leading. Like he was the one tops on the team, and so that it does need to be kind of going back to your point about whether this roster is better than the other one, and I think we agree that it is, but it's worth at least keeping in mind that we'll see where things are once we get into the season. Everybody wants their minutes, and there's only so many to go around, and we'll see, if they're not necessarily winning the way everybody expects them to, how attitudes may or may not change based on minutes distribution. That was, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and they all want to get their time, to shine. But it doesn't always work that way when you've got so many options. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if everybody can be happy and harmonious atmosphere, no matter what the minutes distribution is. But I think that's what it was. I think Boogie and DJ and the people close to them wanted them to play more minutes and be sort of the lead guys on the team that they're on, and they realized that it wasn't going to happen.
Jason, other than a national championship, one shining moment, the long sought for the Memphis fans, the Memphis Tigers loyalists, other than that, how does this version of the Lawsons have a happier ending than the last version?
So other than a national championship, I think just, they talked a lot yesterday, because I talked to him twice yesterday. I got him on the phone, and then they held a press conference at Wooddale. And they talked a lot just about having fun again. And that's more so Chandler than Jonathan. Chandler seemed to indicate that he had just sort of fallen out of love with basketball to a certain degree at Oregon. He didn't feel like he was having fun playing the game anymore. I think he felt like he was constantly playing, looking over his shoulder as soon as he made a mistake. He was coming out of the game that based on their experiences with, playing for Penny before, he lets people play through mistakes, at given times and under certain circumstances. That's how he coaches. And I think they feel like coming home and sort of finishing what their two older brothers started. They said that a lot yesterday, finishing what KJ and Dedrick started, and sort of, like I said, just coming home, bringing the hometown team back to the NCAA tournament, something that their two older brothers didn't do while they were at Memphis. And I think it's not necessary. Yes, they want to win a championship, but I also think that they want to, KJ and Dedrick were that was their thing, is to get Memphis back to an NCAA tournament. They didn't do it, and nobody's done it since then. And I think that would be a huge feather in their cap, if they could be part of the team that just ends this drought. That's 7 full seasons, or is it 8 full seasons now?
At least 7.
I think that's what it is.
At least 7. They have to be aware. You mentioned the minutes. I don't think Precious Achiuwa got 30 minutes a game. So in the way Penny plays, because you got to play hard, you got to play both sides, that he wants to play about 22 to 25, 26 minutes. So you just mentioned Nolly had the most at 27 minutes. He made it clear in his Zoom and then with us that he did not want a needy player. Needy meaning 30 minutes a game, 20 shots a game. He wanted guys that fit their role to fit as a piece on a championship team. He had to make that pretty clear to the Lawsons before they agreed to come here.
And he did. I talked to a couple of times since that Zoom call that Penny had with the majority of the Lawson family. I talked to somebody who was on the call who said that yes, that was Penny shared his vision, he shared his philosophy, how he operates, and that that there's no room for he's got a formula. He's got a formula that he adheres to, and then he shared it with the media not long after that, where exactly as you referenced, guys who want to play 30 minutes a game and take 20 shots a game are not welcome here, essentially. And so I think that if you read between the lines, the fact that he told that to the Lawsons, he told that to us, the Lawsons have agreed to join the Tigers, that they understand that they're not going to be it's more about the sum of the parts than it is about showcasing a handful of guys, and it's just if we're going to ride with that for better or worse. That's not the way Penny's going to do it. Penny's going to make sure that everybody is involved, and it appears, that by all accounts that was made clear before yesterday. And if that's true, then the fact that they have agreed to, the fact that they have committed to Memphis would indicate that they understand that.
All right, tough one for you. If they were starting tomorrow, let's just say Cisse's not coming back, and they haven't picked up anybody else, just these 13 guys, who's starting?
No Cisse, no Musa Cisse.
Yeah.
Who starts? All right, I go with Alex Lomax, Landers Nolly, Lester Quinones, Earl Timberlake, and DeAndre Williams.
Yeah.
That would be my.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
That would be my five. I don't think Earl Timberlake.
That's formidable.
Well, the only other little wrinkle I could go with, if you wanted to play positionless basketball,
right?
I would start Quinones at the point, and I would play Chandler Lawson at either the 4 or the 5.
I could see that too. I could see that too. But, I could see that too. That's certainly an option. That because Penny has shown time and time again that he's just not, unless it's just an obvious thing, unless it's just so clear that this person is a point guard and he is far and away the best option there, that he's willing to have a by committee type of thing. And he let Lester have the reins, so to speak, a few times last season. And so I could see that too. But I think to start the season, Alex Lomax, if the roster stays the way it is, he's going to be given the first shot. I think he's going to roll with Alex at the starting point guard position. And Earl Timberlake didn't come here to not start, so I think he's going to be in there. And I mean, something that doesn't get talked about very much is the fact that Memphis was probably its best down the stretch last season with DeAndre Williams at the 5.
I agree.
It's no secret. It's no secret that Musa had to come out of games late, and there were a lot of games where Malcolm Dandridge played maybe a handful of minutes only in the second half, and they went with DeAndre Williams. They went small, put DeAndre Williams at the 5, so to speak, and it worked out. So I think if that's what they have to do, if Moussa Cisse does not come back, I think they are more than willing and able to go with DeAndre Williams at the 5.
Is Cisse coming back?
I think it's 50-50. I spoke with multiple people within the program, one of whom said to me just earlier this week, I said, what are the chances Moussa comes back? And he said 50-50. And I said, what would you have said if I asked you a week ago? And he said it would have been 20-80 for Moussa, like 80-20 for Moussa to leave. So things are trending in the right direction, but they are still 50-50. And, we'll see. I think a lot of it depends on when Moussa is actually going to make up his mind. I mean, they can't sit around and wait forever. He's got till July 19th to withdraw from the draft process, but I mean that's going to be too late for Memphis to get into the portal. Like, let's say he comes to him July 18th and says, I'm not coming back. Well, that's a little late for Memphis to have to go back into the portal. I don't even know if they can. I think there's a deadline of July 1st. So
Penny did say after talking with him he would not take his scholarship away. So we'll have to wait and see on that. He could also try the G League Elite. Michael Foster, by the way, a 5-star prospect from Phoenix, opted to go to the G League today. He took some cash for that. So we'll have to wait and see. Jason, as always, thank you. We appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again sometime real soon.
Happy to do it, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. Our title sponsor for this hour of the program's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, same building, same great team. They've been together 13 to 14 years. They understand teamwork. They understand financing. They understand product. And this is how good the technology is with Hyundai. Safest car in the world. This is how good the technology is with Genesis. Best bang for your dollar of any luxury car that's sold anywhere. I'm telling you. Go test drive it. You'll find out for sure. All you got to do is get on Lamar. That's Highway 78, first exit in Mississippi. Turn left, Craft Road. I talk about the technology. Do I talk about the durability? How about every car? 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty as soon as you sign the papers. And they want to take care of you, too. A 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every car. They'll change your oil. They'll rotate your tires. They'll take care of you. That's the essence of Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We take a timeout. When we come back, we will shift gears. We'll talk college football. We'll talk NFL draft. We'll talk with the expert, a guy who really knows line play. And I'm not talking Gabe Kuhn either. I'm talking Barrett Jones, and he is next.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your new Kia at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. I've got a 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG, or $129 a month lease, just $31.99 due at signing. And a 2021 Kia Soul, $159 per month lease, $30.99 due at signing.
And I see you got 2021 Kia K5, built in America, $184 a month lease, $30.99 due at signing. They're all 36-month leases.
Plus our industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Senatobia, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, 0 security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344-837, MSRP $20,655, sold M777-2135, MSRP $21,130, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through
see 430 2021 dealer stock only.
I've been telling you about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts at James Davis for years now. Well, they've done it again. Stant has come up with the Perfect Fit pant. It's absolutely amazing. 2 measurements and the computer comes up with the perfect fit. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to your perfect style and fit. And there's 80 fabrics to choose from. And now until this Saturday, buy one, get one free. They're $165 is where they start. That's right. You got to get to James Davis right now. Get the Stant pants. Buy one and get the other perfect fit pants through Saturday. You can't beat what you will see as all the summer and spring fashions, well, they're in abundance in all the spring colors. Just get to Laurelwood. You'll love what you see at the James Davis Men's Store.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in, cruising through our Friday. Hope you're enjoying it. That is what the weekends are all about. We're going to have a lot of fun. I know that is for sure. I know where I'll be tomorrow. It will be at Miramichi. I always love going to Miramichi. I can't wait for tomorrow. We're talking 330 acres of beauty. We're talking 330 acres of challenge, 7,400 yards of championship golf. If you go from the back tees, you move up to where I like to play. It's about 6,300, 6,400. It's the gold. It's all gold there. And the newest thing is the irrigation system. So when we get a little warm weather, everything will be plush. It'll be as pretty as it has ever been. They're always trying to make it better at Miramichi, and they've done that now with the beautiful deck. There's not a better place to go just sit around and drink your favorite beverage than the deck that sits between the 9th and 18th holes of Miramichi. Just gorgeous. They've revamped the bathrooms there. They got a full service bar, 2 televisions there to watch the ball games on weekends like tomorrow. And the weather in the afternoon is supposed to be gorgeous. They're going to start having bands. It's open to the public, even if you're not playing golf. You just want to go up there, have a beer, and take a look at that incredible expanse. You'll love it. Miramichi, better than ever. Speaking of better than ever, let's hope that is exactly how our friend Barrett Jones is. We've got a draft coming up here in the NFL soon. We got some new rules in both college and the pro we can chat with you with. I just am curious. We keep hearing in the first 10, 12 picks there will be 5 quarterbacks taken. How would you take them, Barrett Jones?
Well, what's up, guys? How are we doing?
Good.
Good, Barrett. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, good to be heard. It's a great question. It's definitely, look, draft season is kind of annoying. I think we can all agree with that because there's just so many different narratives that come out and different rumors. And, oh, this guy's not a hard worker. This guy, did this in high school and tweeted this when he was 4 years old. And, it's just it's a annoying season personally. But I think, look, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft. I do think it's interesting the way that Justin Fields has been valued. I think there's a big variety of where you see him. It's kind of funny that he's been falling. I think Trey Lance, another guy I don't know much about. I don't think anyone really does because he only played 1 game last year. So he's kind of a wild card in the whole scenario. I mean, I do think just based on what I think everyone's hearing, it seems like Zach Wilson's pretty much done deal. Trevor Lawrence obviously is a done deal, even though apparently he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. That was the big story with him that we just had to fabricate out of thin air, was that he didn't have a chip on his shoulder. So I think Mac Jones will be the 3rd pick. I guess I'm going to believe all the things I've heard. I was surprised to see him in the conversation for that high. It wouldn't shock me though if it's Trey Lance. I do think Trey Lance has a lot of abilities that are very appealing to a lot of people. So how do I see the 5 quarterbacks stacking up? Look, honestly, I've got no idea. I think all 5 of them could be really good. I think Trevor Lawrence is the only one that I'm certain will be a good pro, and the other 4 all have potential.
Yeah, and Barrett, I think Mac Jones is a little bit, cry me a river, poor pitiful Mac Jones. He's a little bit being scrutinized maybe too heavily because of the Bama domination, but he was integral. He was vital to that. He was the conductor of that. He wasn't just a secondary or tertiary figure. He was primary to it, and he's almost being criticized. So he played on too good a team.
Well, certainly not. And I mean, look, you can't argue with his accuracy. I mean, he had one of the most accurate seasons in college football history, and he threw the ball down the field a bunch. So. Yeah, I mean, it's not like this is a guy that dinked and dunked all the time. His numbers were incredible, and yes, he had good receivers that made plays for him at times. But he put the ball on people when they needed it, and he knew where to go with the football at all times. He had an incredible season. Certainly, he has a smaller sample size than some other guys. But I agree with you. I think Mac Jones will be a good pro, and again, I just was surprised to hear him talk about third. But look, I think he could be a great fit in that system with Kyle Shanahan, and. If that is indeed what they did, I mean, that's a high price to pay to go up 2 first-round draft picks. But Mac Jones could be their guy. And, everything you're hearing, it sounds that way. But we've also heard a lot of situations in the past where you hear one thing and something different happens.
Some rule changes in the National Football League and in college football. Let's start with college. The overtime rules will change. There will no longer be going for just a extra point after the first overtime. In other words, in the second, you got to go for 2. And if we get to a third overtime, you're getting 1 play, and it starts at the 3-yard line. Like it or not?
Yeah, I'm just digesting this too. I'm interested to see how it will be. I don't know if I've had enough time to really think about it. I mean, look, I like anything that adds, more football, and I think football plays. The whole 4th and 15 instead of onside kick, I thought that sounded interesting. Yeah, but we'll just have to kind of see how it goes and what the flow looks like. But I would say initially I like it. I like the sound of it. But we'll I kind of want to see it in practice first before I can fully decide.
And spring football at a lot of places. Tomorrow, Ole Miss plays Matt Corral in all the off-season quarterback rankings. He's way up there. But really, all the SEC West, with maybe the exception of Texas A&M, and they're a team that people are really watching for next year. Everybody is pretty set at quarterback in the SEC West. The East, a little more up for grabs. In the West, you got Matt Corral. You have Will Rogers. You have Bo Nix. I think we're going to have Bryce Young. You're going to have Matt Flynn at LSU. At Arkansas, you're going to have KJ Jefferson. Really, A&M is about the only question mark, and that's not a big one. They just got a good one to replace in Kellen Mond, Barrett.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, there's definitely some guys coming back. I do think Matt Corral is poised to have an enormous season. Matt Corral is such an interesting case to me because there's certain tape you turn on, and I mean, it looks like, honestly, like a first-round draft pick. I mean, he's had some games that are very wowing, but he also has some games that are an absolute disaster where he throws, 5-6 interceptions. So I think consistency is going to be a big thing for him this year. Can he become more consistent and, step into that role? Obviously, you're losing Elijah Moore. I think Yeboah, is he gone too? You know that better than I would, Brett. But I think they certainly still have a chance to have a very, very dynamic offense.
I think one thing that will really help Matt Corral next year is having a pulse from the defensive side. He's not going to play defense, but having a defense where he won't feel like every single offensive play or offensive series he's got to hit a grand slam.
Yeah, no doubt. The defense last year was just as bad as I've ever seen, to be honest with you. It was brutal. So there's nowhere to go but up, in my opinion, defensively for them, and that certainly helps. Look, it's a lot of pressure. You're right. when you feel like the defense is not going to stop anybody, it definitely makes you a little bit more prone to take some chances.
In the meantime, this is Dan Wetzel was just texting this out. It came from the College Football Playoff Committee that got a briefing from 4 of its members that were charged with considering options for the future format of the playoffs. And apparently they reviewed some 63 possibilities for change that included 6, 8, 10, 12, and 16 team options. I do think they're expanding. What do you think works best, Barrett Jones?
Well, I love 4. I think 4 has been a lot of fun. I think the debate over, number 5 is fun every year. I think there's not normally more than 4 good teams. We've had some years where there's been maybe 5. But I think every year we've crowned the best champion. So I think the system has worked so far. That's the objective, not to give participation trophies to people that feel good, that have 3 losses, even though they won their conference. So, I like 4, but if you got to expand, I guess 8 is the next logical one. I mean, I think 8's coming. There are 5 Power 5 conferences that all pay a lot of money and make a lot of money that all probably want to see at the table. So I get that from that standpoint. I do think there'll be some kind of automatic bid for winning your conference. Now, I'm saying I like it. I've enjoyed 4, but look, I know if you're listening to this and you're not an Alabama fan, you're probably saying, well, of course you've enjoyed 4. You guys make the playoff every year. So I understand that too. And I do want college football not to be a regionalized sport, and I want it to expand, beyond just the Southeast, and not expand beyond it because obviously it's past that, but be popular beyond that. And if 8 teams helps that, then I'll like it. I'm just not sure. Like last year, both semifinals were not that competitive, and we've had some years where we haven't. And I do think that if we expand to 8, that we'll have several of those playoff games that will not be competitive. So we'll just have to see. We'll see how it all works out. But I think that 8 probably is coming, and wouldn't surprise me if we see 8 sooner rather than later.
Of course, I'd love the 16, 10 conference winners, 6 best at large after that. I think you would have some upsets. You probably would still have some early round matches that might not be the most competitive in the world, but it would take on opportunities for the Davids to knock off some Goliaths along the way, and I think that would eventually happen.
Well, bowls are already becoming irrelevant, but if you did that, that would be the final nail in the coffin for bowls.
Not unless you use the bowls in that scenario.
Well, I mean, you would use some of them, but I'm saying the ones outside of that would be absolutely irrelevant. I mean, anyone who's not be in that top 16, I mean, that would be – and I get, it's starting to feel more and more that way, but, I mean, not all bowls are totally irrelevant. There's still some bowls that are fun and that people care about. But I think that if the bigger you go, the less important bowls become, because if you don't make the playoffs, then you're just kind of thinking, okay, well, I'm done. And I think we'll see – especially if there were a 16 team, I think we'd see massive. Any senior would not play in a bowl game. It'd be more just an exhibition, type of game if it was a 16-team playoff.
Gabe Kuhn said it last Friday with us talking the Tiger spring game Friday night, Stripes last Friday night, and I know you have voiced it, especially for upperclassmen established on the depth chart. The happiest day of spring football is when it's over, isn't it?
Oh, there's no doubt, Brett. Spring football is brutal. Watching spring football is brutal. And absolutely, when it's over, it is a celebration because you can actually go and hit someone else. So eventually, you get to fall camp because it is spring practice. I mean, camp is no fun, but at least you get to play a game when camp is over. And when you're in spring, there's not even a game. There's a spring game where you continue to just have another really hard, hot practice. So, yeah, I'm spring football. No one likes it. It's obviously a necessary evil, but when it's over, it's a great feeling.
Yesterday, there was a little controversy from the NFL pertaining to the numbers, and I'm talking about uniform numbers, where instead of if you're an offensive lineman, you got to wear 50 to 70 or something like that, and then
50 to 79.
Yeah, 50 to 79, and there's numbers for defensive linemen, and there's numbers for tight ends, and on and on and on, and that's going out the window. And Tom Brady was up in arms about it, as if offensive linemen will not be able to recognize who the heck they're supposed to block because they're not wearing the right numbers. Give me your take on all that.
I think that offensive lineman will figure it out. Tom needs to give him a little more credit that we're not quite as dumb as we look. So, yeah, I know there's number changing and all this and single digits for D linemen, and I don't think it matters. It never bothered me, and I think that they'll adapt quickly, and it's a non-story, honestly.
Yeah, Barrett, if the other guy has a different color jersey on and he's bearing down on your quarterback, you need to block him. And I think Tom Brady knows that. And it's interesting. I can remember different numbers for college players at quarterback. I mean, just a few years ago, Shea Patterson wore number 20 at quarterback at Ole Miss. Gabe Gross wore number 22 at Auburn at quarterback. In the 70s, John Shira wore 21 at quarterback for UCLA. But in the NFL, they've always kind of had a different numbering system. But I think we can figure it out.
No doubt. I think we can figure it out, too. Hey, guys, I actually got to run, but I enjoyed being on. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
You got it, Barrett.
We appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you, man.
That is Barrett Jones on the run. Always fun to chat college football with him. The summer of fun has begun because Mario Pools is opening up everybody's pools. Yes, Mario Pools on Exeter Road in Germantown. You know, they'll keep your pool picture perfect all season long. A beautiful pool just doesn't happen. So call Mario and his team. Will keep it right, or they'll guide you every step of the way so you can do it for yourself, but your pool will look beautiful. If you need a replacement liner, if you need resurfacing, tile replacement, any kind of pool coping, these are your guys. He always goes the extra mile. Mario does. He wants, first off, to send you pictures of your pool. Send him those pictures so he knows exactly what he's dealing with even before he gets out there. He can kind of figure out exactly what your problem may be. Then he's always got deals that he's going to say, well, why don't you try this? He's amazing. He really, truly is. Here's the number. It's 552-3399. 552-3339, or just walk in and see him in Germantown on Exeter. His showroom has everything you need, from equipment to pool supplies to anything you need to keep your pool a backyard oasis. He's got an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Check out the reviews on Facebook. Don't be a slave to your pool. Call Mario Pools and call him today. We take the time out. Back with a wrap of this second hour on this Friday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
The Jeep Celebration and Ram Truck Month is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Check out 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $22,490 or $287 a month. Command the road in your 2021 Dodge Charger XST. We Gossett at $29,499 or $394 a month. And if you're ready for some adventure, 2021 Fiat 500 X Pop all-wheel drive, $21,990 or $279 a month. And they're not leases, you own them. We Gossett all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, so drive past the rest and come to the best. 1901 Covington Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade MPM 44,788, MSRP 26,240. Charger MH5 12,542, MSRP 32,860. 500X MP 88,7786, MSRP 26,830. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/21 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Are you looking for a new job or a better career opportunity? Highline Warren, a leading distributor and manufacturer of automotive aftermarket products, is holding a hiring event April 24th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bring your resume. Highline Warren is hiring for multiple warehouse positions. Great employee benefits include health, dental, vision, 401k, competitive pay, and more. Check out all the open positions at highlinewarren.com/careers. The hiring event is Saturday, April 24th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 4500 Malone Road. Highline Warren is an equal opportunity employer.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in as we cruise to our weekend. Brett McMurphy saying, by the way, we mentioned the playoffs. Bill Hancock told at Stadium, definitely not going to be any expanded playoff in 21 or in 22. A timetable hasn't been determined yet, and that's, I guess, all tied to television contracts and money, Dave, and things of that nature.
And I'm working on it for the big reveal sometime this summer. My 16-teamer, I have play-in games. I have play-in games that incorporate bowl games. I have playoff games that incorporate even more bowl games, and like the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on a rotating basis with other peer group bowl games like the Gator, like the Outback, like the Capital or the Citrus Bowl. Those type games could rotate through the years. I'm working on my big reveal. I told you at the end of last year, I got my 16-teamer. I want to go big rather than piecemeal.
I look forward to that. I think you can save the Bulls, frankly, by incorporating them in that playoff. And for those that make the other bowl games that will not be relevant, and I don't argue with Barrett on that one, they're already irrelevant. Other than the New Year's Day 6 Bowls and the playoffs, are there any other really riveting bowl games? No, only to the schools that are playing in it. Look, the Montgomery Bowl that Memphis was in last year, that was only important.
Fantastic.
It was important to Memphis, and that's it.
But that's okay.
It is okay. But you're not going to make any other bowls relevant in this day and age. And it's not just the playoffs, but people watch college football all the time now. And I hate to say it, but a lot of these postseason bowl games are exhibition games.
They are, and they always have been. And I'm nitpicking a little bit here, but the difference between relevance and mattering. Because to those youngsters, I mean, I wish somebody well. You go up to Ryan Silverfield and you tell him that bowl game didn't matter.
Well, it mattered to him. I would agree. Would he rather played
to his youngsters?
Would he rather have played in the New Year's Day 6 Bowl game again? Yes.
Yeah. Well,
would he
my
rather
Chevy Malibu matters to me, but I'd rather be in a Rolls Royce.
Would you? Yeah, and would you rather have a shot in a 16-team playoff? Heck, yes. And if and does that mean that your bowl game becomes less relevant? Okay. And Barrett's right.
I think we can make we can make some of these bowls more important with a better pool of teams that aren't in the playoff. because you're going to have, especially if we have it like see, I want a play-in game for like the Sun Belt champion and the CUSA champion. American Athletic Conference, they're going to be in every year. They've earned that. But I think WAC and some of the others, let's have them, because we have play-in games for the NCAA tournament with the play-in tournament.
We do, and the same conferences are involved in that all the time. The SWAC champion
mostly
is almost always in. I can't remember when a SWAC champion wasn't in the play-in. Does the MEAC? I can't remember. The MEAC might not.
But it's a lot of familiar
same
names, and of course have a ranking system. But I have that, and it'll be fun to bounce around. I know whatever system we have, I know who's going to thrive in it, and it's going to be the same names, because there have been some whopping blowouts in those semifinal games of teams that just couldn't compete, and that's name brand big boys.
Well, they get the better players all the time, so that just stands to reason. They
That's
have great
the defeated
coaches.
team that gets pounded.
Say that again.
Look at some of the poundings in the semis, and Barrett referenced that too. I mean, some of these semifinal games in the college football playoff have been utter blowouts. Teams that just could not hang, and that's 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3. When you get into 1 versus 16, whew.
There'll be some ugly ones. There'll be some ugly ones, but there's a 1 in 16. There's 4 games of those every year in the NCAA, and we seem to be able to survive that. That's 2 hours in the books. This final portion of hour number 1 brought to you by the Spirit Shop. It's 5 o'clock or just about. Oh, I know some of you are ready to celebrate the weekend. There's the best place in the world that I know of on the way home, 4646 Poplar Avenue, where you can go get your favorite spirit to bring in the weekend. Oh, yeah, you'll have some fun. Go see Eddie Connor and his family. They're all there, ready to give you the bargains when it comes to the great wines or bourbons or vodkas or tequilas, whatever it may be. Or maybe you're looking for the premium. Maybe you want the best of the best. He's got every different price point. They got everything there. It's a tiny little log cabin, you think, but when you walk in, you'll be amazed at all the product. Spatial engineering is what I like to call Eddie, a spatial engineering genius. He's got everything there, accessories. If you would like something to rim your glass for your favorite cocktail, he's got it all. The Spirit Shop, so conveniently located right there, right by Clark Tower, a little bit further down, Poplar and St. Nick. Go tell them we sent you and enjoy the weekend. The Spirit Shop. Back in a minute.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text BOTH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help get you back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BOTH to 42424. That's BOTH to 42424.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
It's happening again at Family Leisure. Don't miss out again this summer because pools are going fast. Spas in stock now, too, and they're ready for delivery. New 2021 patio furniture, state-of-the-art in stock now, and up to 20% off select sets. Swing into spring with a brand new play gym, professional installation available. The temperature's rising, and so is the service at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun come together. The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour on this busy Friday. Andy Schiffman from Chicago, where if you have the Cubs in the very rare 15-run pool, you win it all today, Cubs. 15 runs on 17 hits, and they pound Milwaukee 15-2. Andy Schiffman to talk Cubs and the NBA with us after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's our friends on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road, DeSoto Auto Sales. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Check out all the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Look at the beautiful cars and see all the happy referrals, the very pleased customers from DeSoto Auto Sales. When you walk in and all the cars, they're test driven, all checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. And you'll be treated like family by kind, courteous employees that care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. Within 45 minutes, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or like right now, right after work before the weekend begins. They know we live in a world today that time matters. That's why they keep it very simple at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We are joined every Friday in this time slot with our favorite agent in Chicago. That would be Andy Schiffman. And I haven't had a chance to talk with you for a few weeks for various different reasons, so I'm going to start off with a tough one for you.
All right, lay it on me.
All right. When should NBA teams be experimenting? Beginning of the year or in the middle of a playoff push, when they could actually be playing for sixth place tonight against Portland, the Memphis Grizzlies? Instead, they are trying to hold on to the 8th position. Now, I know they are ahead of schedule. I know they didn't think they would be here. but I find it interesting that you're experimenting in a stretch where you could be playing for playoff position, playing 11 different guys the other night in a game that was obviously very, very winnable, and experimenting with Justice Winslow, who's just gotten back from being injured again, and trying him at point guard. It just does not make sense to me. Please make sense of it for me.
Well, look, I'm not Taylor Jenkins, so I can't really speak for him. But obviously, like you mentioned, Dave, they played 11 different guys. You had the return of Jaren Jackson, but he had 5 fouls, got in foul trouble. They were limiting his minutes regardless. You had Dylan Brooks foul out. They obviously mounted a huge first-half lead. I mean, I watched the game, and then lo and behold, here come the Clippers. Here come DeMarcus Cousins. They absolutely took advantage of the Grizzlies' front court with no Valanciunas, and they just ate him up inside in the second half especially, and they got Xavier Tillman in foul trouble. So I think in a game like that, it's a little more understandable. I don't necessarily look at it as let's experiment and try and find something that's going to work the rest of this season, because what we've been doing these X number of games up until here in the middle of April hasn't really been working. I just think it was more of a experimenting in the game, in the moment thing. Look, we have to figure out a way to get this lead back to compete. We've got some guys in foul trouble. We've got, look, when you insert a talent like Jaren Jackson back into the lineup, right, that's going to throw off chemistry. He's playing his first game. There's a lot of guys in that team that have not played in an NBA game with him. And so just that alone is going to cause a lot of changes here and there. And so maybe he's got something behind closed doors that he and the staff have been working on to where they feel comfortable now with Jaren back in. We're going to run this or do that or have the ball in Justice's hands. I just don't know. So I don't think it's cause for concern. Obviously, what is cause for concern is the fact that they blew that game the other night, especially when the Clippers are shorthanded themselves, without a Reggie Jackson,
six guys,
Paul George,
six,
Rondo.
Right, 6 key players not playing.
Exactly. I mean, their bench just, DeMarcus and what you saw Zubac doing, they just ate him up inside. But I'm not hitting the panic button. Obviously, they got a big one tonight. Damian Lillard's back playing at a high level. So, look, every single game is going to be highly competitive from here on out. But to the Grizzlies end, I do think that they will only continue to succeed and find success, hopefully, now that you do have Justice back, now that you do have Jaren back. So if you can remain healthy the rest of the way, you've got a step up in talent now. You just got to stay out of foul trouble and defend.
And the Clippers went out there and showed a lot of professional pride in that game, Andy, and you're seeing that down the stretch of this year. They always are, but there's some guys really playing right now for next year to show front offices, I want to be back. I like the NBA life.
Oh, absolutely. The guys, these end of the roster, we'll call them, end of the bench, second unit guys, I mean, this is their time to shine. So they get amped up for these games, especially games at home against another playoff opponent. And look, the Clippers are only 3 games back of the first seed in the West. I've watched Utah blow a lot of games they had no business losing this season. Phoenix is only 2 games back. So I think the Clippers look at the Western standings right now and think they realistically do have a chance to grab that number 1 seed. Phoenix is on a roll. I'm just not necessarily looking at Utah, them holding on the number 1 seed as a foregone conclusion. I mean, the last 10 games alone, the Clippers have the best record in the NBA at 9-1. They've had a lot of success. So all of these factors I'm talking about, I just think it motivates the second unit of a team like that so much more to show their value. And you said it best, right? Not only for the Clippers, but for 29 other NBA teams that are watching every single night.
You look at the Western standings, and you just mentioned them. Clippers third, just 3 behind Utah. Phoenix at number 2, and they've been there the whole year long. Denver at 4, LA at 5, and now they're, because of all those injuries, they are 4.5 games behind the 4 spot with Denver. That looks pretty good right now, considering all the games that have been in play. Is this the way you think it ends the regular season, in that order? Utah, Phoenix, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Lakers?
I would not be surprised if you have one of Denver or the Clippers in that 3 spot. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say at the end of the day, Phoenix is going to get the number 1 seed. Do I feel confident in that state? No. I just think Phoenix is rolling. I love the way they play.
There.
Exactly. I mean, you've seen Utah rest some of their guys, so now we'll see what happens here these last 2 weeks of the season if they're doing that. But Phoenix is just so solid defensively. I really, really like them. Not to take anything away from Utah. When I've seen them, what I've watched, I think they've got a lot of momentum. So I do think at the end of the season, you're talking about the middle of May 16th, the top 4 will be Utah, Phoenix, Clippers, and Denver. In what order? I'm not going to solidly say it's going to remain as is. I think Clippers and Denver could be interchangeable at the 3-4. Phoenix and Utah, or Utah, Phoenix at the 1-2. I think that's very likely, but nothing is going to surprise me. And you said it, Dave. All these top 4 teams are within 5.5 games of each other, and Denver's come on extremely strong. And I think the Lakers could make some noise in the playoffs. You got Anthony Davis back last night. Didn't set the world on fire, but it's only his first game back. Hopefully you're going to get LeBron back at some point to finish off the regular season heading into the playoffs. And I don't necessarily know if they've got enough momentum and firepower to overtake the number 4 seed. But again, you can never count out a healthy Lakers team come playoff time, no matter what their seed is, no matter who they're playing.
Yeah, they're the champs. Until they're knocked out, I think they are very much a sports parlance here, a live grenade. Andy, this is my Grizzlies fandom talking, but I think I'd have to have my stomach pumped. But if Phoenix were the 1 seed, Chris Paul should get MVP consideration, and that makes me ill saying it.
No, absolutely. I think you're spot on. I think he really has not been talked about. That's a great point, because he's not been talked about as MVP as much as Joel Embiid, Jokic, those guys. I mean, Harden a little bit, but he's obviously been injured, and he's probably going to remain injured. I'm not necessarily sure that James Harden will be back for the start of the playoffs. I think Giannis is going to garner some consideration, as he always does. But I think Chris Paul should absolutely be in heavy consideration for MVP.
That assist-to-turnover ratio is crazy.
For my money, Brett, in the NBA today, despite his age, he is the best pure point guard out there. I think I heard a stat the other day where he's got something like around 70 assists in the prior 4 games with only 3 turnovers, to your point, the assist turnover.
Yeah,
but
that's incredible.
He's just a leader.
That's
he's
amazing.
A leader. He is, and he does it every single night. He's a leader. It's a great fit systematically for him, the way Phoenix plays. He's surrounded by young, hungry, talented players that want to learn. They all buy in. And so, absolutely, I think there's so much that is all-encompassing when you talk about the most valuable player in the league. And you've got a team like Phoenix, basically, not to use a cheesy analogy, but they're kind of rising like a phoenix from the ashes ever since last year. You saw what they did in the bubble, and they've carried that momentum here throughout this season. And there are a lot of people that maybe thought that was a fluke last summer in the bubble. But, hey, they've proven all those people wrong. They're exciting to watch. I think it's going to come down to Embiid and Jokic an MVP for an MVP for the season. But if you put Chris Paul up there, you wouldn't have any argument for me.
If they win that division, I don't see how Jokic can. I mean, that conference. I don't see how Jokic has the argument over him. I really do not, because they would be fourth.
Just the overall numbers,
third, fourth,
putting up every single night.
Yeah, compared to number 1. And going back to that turnaround, go back to before they were in the bubble and where they were. Okay, I mean, it was amazing that they made the bubble, because for the prior 2 years they were a laughingstock. Mm-hmm. You take that team and the turnaround from this year. If they win that conference, that would be the kind of turnaround, and I think we were talking with somebody else about this, but it would be like when Bird joined the Boston Celtics. They'd been terrible, and their turnaround from wins the prior year to his rookie year was hefty. I think when Wilt Chamberlain joined the Philadelphia Warriors, they went from terrible to being a factor. I mean, that's the
he can make you good.
Hey, that's the kind of turnaround that you're talking about here, though, because this team was a laughingstock, and now all of a sudden, since the bubble from a year ago, they've become a power in the West, and that's the better conference.
No, absolutely they have. 2 years ago in the 2018-19 season, they were coached differently by Igor. Forgot his last name. He's now over in Europe. and they had 19 wins in the 2019-20 season. Then the shortened season last year, they were 34-39. And even just that, in terms of win percentage, to be almost 500 after winning 19 wins the prior year, being 19-63, to now they're at 42-17. It is extremely remarkable in just a short amount of time. Because realistically, you're talking about less than 2 full seasons for them to be a powerhouse in the West. I mean, in terms of Coach of the Year, I think we talked about at the beginning of the year that I had my money on Quinn Snyder. I would probably shift that focus now and give it to Monty Williams.
I think that's fair.
But I'm just, one thing you always got to look out for, and I haven't really done a deep dive into this yet, is look, if you're talking about who's going to grab the number 1 seed in Phoenix and Utah, let's look at their remaining schedule. So I got Phoenix is pulled up here. They've got a game. They're going to be at Brooklyn, beat up Brooklyn Sunday. Then they've got the Clippers in Utah after that with the Knicks, the Knicks have won, I think, 8 straight. They're playing unbelievable. And then you finish out the month of May in the regular season. They got Oklahoma City, Cleveland, Atlanta. We don't know if Trae Young's going to be back and healthy by the Atlanta game May 5th. New York at home. You got on the road the Lakers, at Golden State, and Portland. Those 3 will be tough. You finish out with San Antonio. So they finish a little bit lighter than they do to finish out the month of April. And then if you're talking about, I'm just pulling it up here, Utah's remaining schedule, they are going to have relatively, besides the game April 30th at Phoenix, they got Minnesota tomorrow and on Monday. They've got at Sacramento after that. And then to finish out the month of May, I'd say it's almost pretty equal. They've got Denver at home, and they've got some road games against some sub-500 opponents, OKC, Houston at home, Toronto at home. So I would actually probably say Utah has a little bit of an edge in terms of the remaining schedule. But again, how you just have to remain healthy. That's proven very difficult in this season. You don't know when at all Donovan Mitchell's going to return, how your bench is going to perform every single night. So, look, I would love to see a Phoenix-Utah game as a final game at the end. Game 73, we'll call it, on May 17th or May 18th. Kind of like they do in baseball when you've got that one playing game, get into the playoff. Something like that. If they are tied, I would love to see that as opposed to just going by a tiebreaker.
All right, last question.
We're not going to see it, but I would love to see it.
Last question for our man, Andy Schiffman in Chicago. Since you've gone on this limb and you are bold, saying Phoenix wins the West, tell me what position the Memphis Grizzlies finish.
Well, they're in the 8th spot right now.
Yep.
They're about, 2.5 back of Dallas.
Yep.
I'm going to say they're going to stick at 8. I'm going to say they're going to hold on and fend off San Antonio. I'm going to say it's going to be difficult. I think Golden State's got the most momentum to creep into the top 8. They're only a game back in Memphis. But look, I'm a Memphian. I'm not going to count out my Grizz. I'm going to say they're going to finish 8. I don't think they got enough firepower now to jump into 6 or 7 with Portland and Dallas. I'm going to say, it's not, I make all these bold statements, right? That's not too bold. So I'm going to say they're going to stand pat at 8.
Okay.
Favorite Grizz game you've ever been to, Andy? What's your favorite?
Favorite Grizz game I've ever been to? That's an easy one. Before I was an agent, if you all remember, you two remember for sure.
Yes.
When they played OKC, triple overtime.
Yep, that's
Mike
mine.
Conley hit that step back to the left
on a Monday
wing.
night.
Yep.
That's my favorite too.
All-time favorite. Yep.
Brett, have you got a different
I think
one?
mine was I do. The Zebo floater to win the San Antonio series in 2011.
That was the first series
and Dave,
they won,
we were
right?
sitting by each other.
Yeah.
First series they won. Dave and I, we're sitting by each other. I could take you to the spot where they had us then at FedEx Forum, and that ball was in the air forever. I mean, it was just, I mean, it floated and floated, and the crowd kind of froze, went quiet. It goes through, and the party was on.
That is not my favorite game, though, sitting next to you. You know that one, don't you?
No, nothing tops October 27th, 2011, Game 6 of the World Series, Andy, when David Freese went long.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Dave had to scoop me up off the ground earlier in the night.
Earlier in the game, my man went comatose on me.
After the Josh Hamilton home run, I went down to the floor.
He did. It was
fun.
funny.
I'm loving baseball back. I mean, I haven't made it to something yet. I don't get out to Wrigley in April, Dave. It's too cold.
Yeah, I hear
for
you.
a Memphian like me.
Let
Cardinals
me
are really
just say
slacking,
this:
though.
Cubs 15-2 over the Brewers today.
Hey, they needed that one because the Brewers beat them up earlier in the season.
They beat them up
really
all the time.
struggling. They took the Mets series, but hopefully this gets them going because it'd be good to see some winning baseball at Wrigley this year. Just great to have baseball back. So I've been glued to my TV between that and basketball. I mean, my vision's going very, very, very down south.
And it's really glad to be living again. And when we didn't, we never took it for granted. And I don't think most people did not take it for granted. It's just good to have that rat-a-tat-tat every day. A game's being played and normality kind of taking a footing and we're getting back to our lives. And I can't wait to get busy and stay busy and be at everything that's being played.
Andy, you go get
you and me both.
You go get some Lou Malnati's pizza. That will be your normalcy. I am going to head to the commissary tonight. Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Andy.
Guys,
and
thanks a lot.
I don't mean to make you jealous because you can get Malnati's, but I can get the commissary, and you can't get the commissary.
Pretty good.
But everybody in Memphis can get the commissary. They can go get it at two places. They can get the commissary in Germantown, usual spot. You know, that quaint area of Germantown, that little place that, it's just fun to go to. Or you can go to the Palace. That's what I like calling the newer one. That's the Collierville Commissary. Houston, Levy Road, and Poplar with the easy drive-through for tonight if you don't want to go out and just take in. But if you wanted to go and maybe you'd be up late to watch the Grizz on that patio tonight. It'd probably be a little chilly. But you could go for happy hour right now. It's always happy. Get one of the great appetizers. Get the nachos. You know, they invented the barbecue nachos. The commissary did. That's a fact. Or you could get tamales, or you could get the sausage and cheese plate. You can get it all. You can get wings. Anything you want, you enjoy either inside or on that patio, or as I say, the drive-thru. It's always great. That's the truth. It's so consistent. Some restaurants, some nights you get really kind of meaty, beautiful ribs, and sometimes there's nothing on the bones. I mean, really? What happened? Or they're dry. Never with the commissary. Always consistent. Always good. And always with the deviled egg. And you can end the day with banana pudding like I like, or the icebox lemon pie. That is Brett Norsworthy's favorite item. You just can't beat it. And you've got two places. The commissary's a winner, whether it's in Germantown or in Collierville. I just saw a tweet.
Tomorrow in the Grove Bowl, Coach Monty Kiffin making a return to the sidelines. He's going to coach one of the teams tomorrow.
Is that right? Is Lane going to sit in the press box?
He's just going to kind of be in charge of it all. But Wilson Love, the strength and conditioning coach, will be head coach of one team and Coach Monty Kiffin on the other. And we'll have all that tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I will not be able to be there tomorrow. I have an obligation that I just cannot avoid over the weekend. And everybody at Ole Miss at Learfield IMG, certainly very kind and understanding, but you can catch it all tomorrow. Big day for Ole Miss tomorrow with LSU. Did you see where they retired number 11 last night for Donnie Kessinger at the Ole Miss LSU game?
I saw a promo from our friends on the middays, Greg and Eli, that they were going to have Don on. We need to do that one of these days because he was, a hero of mine growing up. Speaking of heroes of ours, I just saw a Twitter entry from Tiger Woods, who has a picture of himself next to his dog. He is on crutches on a golf course. It says, "My golf course is coming along better than I am, but it's good to be out," or something of that nature. And he is. He's walking. He's got a big boot. He's on crutches.
I see it now from Matt Berry.
Yeah. How about that? I mean, that
get well, Tiger,
is a fabulous recovery story. Just the fact that he's out walking on crutches right now, that's amazing.
Dadgum miracle, and thank goodness for it, and hope he gets well, mind, body, and soul, and it's going to be a battle, but Don't count him out. Hey, start that summer road trip at All-Star Chevrolet down on Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Down there, you can go down and drive all the new Silverados, Tahoes, Equinox. Drive them all at All-Star. Test drive them. Got to drive a new Blazer or third row seat Traverse. Thousands in cash back. Financing deals and cash back deals about as good as I've ever seen it. As good as 0 for 72 months. 0% financing for 72 months. All-Star Chevy, they got a dozen of demos for sale. They're like new. They're now almost famous, best deal in town on the demos. If you want to sell your Chevy, car, truck, or SUV, bring it to All-Star, and they'll write you a check today. They'll beat any legit offer you get by a lot. Any 2015 through 2021 with less than 75,000 miles, they'll beat it. The certified Chevy pre-owned lot, it's packed, but our friends at All-Star, they want more. Bring them your title. You'll get your check today. Remember, it's not Mount Mirage, not Covenant Pike, not South Haven, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Everyone at All-Star, one job. Have a good time, get the best deal, and do it all in record time. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road or online at allstarautogroup.com. Best financing for everyone, it's at All-Star Chevrolet.
We take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll talk some baseball with our baseball expert, our insider. You know him. It's Tim Doolin. He comes your way in just a minute.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhammer for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about buying a newer used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $8,000. Interest low as 0%. Bad credit, it's okay. At Sunrise, we've got financing for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. Where saving your money is just a way of doing business. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Tune in to Bally Sports Southeast and watch your next-gen Grizzlies tonight at 7 p.m. when they take on the Portland Trailblazers, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out Grizzlies.com for more information.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. This portion of the show, as the weekend approaches, is brought to you by Grind City Brewing and the Great Tiger Tail. I don't normally do this, but let me get Gabe Kuhn in here. Gabe is he's an eyewitness to the rise to glory of Tiger Tail beer. Used to be you could only get it at the brewery. What do you think of the brewery?
Awesome. Good plot of land, good views, fantastic ambiance. Love the whole thing.
Tap room is incredible, right? I mean, incredible. Now, you said, you might not be the biggest IPA fan, but that craft malt liquor, which, by the way, is the official malt craft beer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department, that you said tickled your fancy.
Good flavor, full flavor. Enjoy it. Don't usually enjoy malt liquors, but pretty good.
It is not your father's, or mine for that matter, malt liquor. It is definitely better than that, and it does have this, as you say, bold but smooth flavor, and the finish makes it really easy drinking, doesn't it?
Sure does.
And you got to be careful because 7.5% alcohol. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll love this. It's so popular, by the way, you can get it in Kroger. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, taking care of beerness in Memphis. I love it, Gabe. You just jumped at that one. That was terrific. Jumping out of the ballpark today. Baseballs hit by Chicago Cubs. They win 15-2.
Here we go,
Tim Doolin. Here come the Cubs.
Oh, man, he didn't even say, hey, how you doing? I knew that was
God. It started at 3 o'clock today, Tim.
We're over 500. What do you want?
Well, they need to be saving runs and balancing out the number of runs they score per game.
Save some of those runs.
Boy, you're not kidding.
I wish you could.
That's the same thing they did with Atlanta. What was it, a week ago? They scored 14 runs in one game, and then I don't know if they scored another run.
How good's the Central? How good's the National League Central, Tim?
I think it's good. I think there's, obviously there's balance in the Central, probably more consistently on a year-in-year basis than any other division of baseball. And I think that's good. It's obviously a good thing for fans of the Cardinals and Cubs and even the Brewers. I mean, I think it's just going to be that way again this year. That's for sure.
I want to get back to the major leagues in a minute, but you've been unbelievable. You have picked the series with Ole Miss and Arkansas, and the week before that, Mississippi State. Or no, opposite, Mississippi State last week. Now you got Ole Miss LSU. One game already in the books. And as soon as we're off the air, by the way, at 6 o'clock tonight, Ole Miss and LSU, game number 2 right here on Sports 56, 98.5, 96.1. What will happen in that series?
Well, I tell you what, I was talking to Ole Miss alumni and big-time baseball fan earlier in the day, and it's very frustrating. If you saw last night's game, they had a chance to man on first and second, no outs, and traditionally would, in the ninth inning, you would think, okay, we're going to bunt these guys over or whatever, and then didn't bunt, ended up, getting a 2-out infield single that probably would have scored one of those 2 runs to either tie it or put them ahead. But, Ole Miss has had a very, Mike's had a tradition of really starting out of the gates great every year, getting ranked really high, and then win some in the SEC, and then as the season progresses, start stumbling a little bit. And I'm, losing that game last night. Tonight's going to be a big, big game because LSU's been up and down. LSU started out really, really slow this year, and then have come on as late. So, what's tough is, no different than any other sport in the SEC is when you look up and say, oh, When's our next Patsy? You might have one during the week, but then you turn around and bang your head up against the wall the next week in the SEC, and there is a huge amount of parity in the SEC this year.
And, Tim, the aversion of some head coaches, skippers, managers across baseball to not want to bunt. And then last night in Columbia, at Arkansas against South Carolina, Dave Van Horn with a team that everybody in the lineup can bop it. They lead the nation in home runs. What won them a ball game? Laying down a bunt.
Well, with stats, we talked about this either last week or the week before, is when you've got the likes of Arkansas and the tradition and the history of them, Dave taking his teams not only to the Super Regionals, but he's consistently in the World Series. You look at Corbin, who this year's team with Corbin is probably the most balanced team that he's ever had. He's always had great pitching, always played good defense. Well, now all of a sudden they've got speed on the bases. They've got guys that can hit it over the fence, and I don't think you're going to see guys like that waver in letting today's baseball culture in the pros and the big leagues of, playing this American League ball, of swinging for the fences and relying on someone to hit a 3-run home run. You can't do that. I don't think you can do it in the big leagues either, but you definitely can't do it in college because you're not that blessed with that much talent of guys that are going to hit the ball out of the park. You got to be able to execute and play small ball.
I want to go back to what the Doolin Dodgers do, not just here, but in Dallas and in Huntsville, right? That's where you are.
Yeah,
you're all over the place as your dynasty continues to grow nationwide.
Yeah, right.
Are you teaching fundamental baseball? Do you teach your elite younger players how to bunt the baseball?
Oh yeah, we're teaching our philosophy hasn't changed since I even played. I mean, you got to be able to be a complete player because you don't know who's going to recruit you. You don't know who's watching, when they're watching, and you can't just all of a sudden at 13 or 14 say we're going to have to learn how to bunt and run the bases the right way and play hard. And so it's a total, and Chris Godwin does a great job because he's a very fundamental, sound disciplinarian, and I think that's why we have a lot of success. Is we try to teach our guys how to respect the game, play the game the right way. We don't keep up with statistics. We're not worried about individuals having success because they're going to have success as long as they're bought into the team concept and to play the game the right way. You're going to have bad games. It's a very difficult game. There's times when you might go 0 for 4 and hit the ball hard 3 times, and the other guy gets 2 hits and breaks 2 bats. That doesn't mean he's better than you. So we're in a society where at an early age it's entitlement and it's everybody's quantifying success by results. And I asked a lot of our players in the meetings we have during the winter, is like, would you guys play baseball if they didn't keep statistics? And they kind of never heard that question. They go, well, yeah. Well, I can assure you that the young players in Latin America and Dominican, they don't even know what Game Changer is, which is a stat app that everybody keeps up with. So they're not worried about statistics.
That's a good point,
and we shouldn't be either.
That's a good point, Tim. One of the fundamental things that just drives me crazy, and I think it kept the no-hitter alive for the Padres pitcher a couple of Friday nights ago, is the guy that wants to slide it first. There's two places you can run all the way through the base or bag, first and home. And the day that Usain Bolt gets to the tape and he slides, then sliding will be preferential to running through the base. People that slide at first drive me crazy. Please tell me you have a Doolin's Dodger policy other than to elude a throw. You better not be sliding at first.
Yeah, we don't like them sliding to first at all. I mean, I do like, softball's been doing this for a while. I do like making first base wider, which protects guys from getting hurt. And as far as, not having to run into the first baseman, especially at young ages, they don't know. Sometimes the first baseman doesn't know where he's supposed to be with his foot on the bag, and sometimes the runners, stepping all over the place. So, but no, you should not be sliding into first base. That's for sure.
I didn't know softball is actually doing that now, where the bag at first is bigger than the other bags.
And at the youth levels, yes, a lot of them do. And it's not, there's no advantage. I mean, it's still, you got to get the distance. And So, and they've actually talked about, some of those things in the big leagues with all the changes Rob Manfred, our buddy, wants to make.
Well, they got. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I think we've had a few more hits this week. Maybe because the weather's getting warmer. I really do not know. I know this. The Dodgers are still the best team in baseball. Is that true?
They are. Last night was a great game. We had a former Dueling Dodgers, Ryan Weathers.
Sure was.
It's only 21 years old. That had a one-hitter going into the sixth inning, and it's funny. I talked to his dad, and his dad pitched 19 years in the big leagues, coached with me, just a true traditionalist baseball. And they came out. He had 2 outs, I think, in the fifth or sixth, and it was up to 80 pitches. They came out and got the ball from him, and that's like he wasn't even laboring. And his dad was just going, "Oh my God, this is the big leagues, man! Let this guy keep going." The hitters will let you know when the pitcher gets tired, right?
Right. You know when his dad's going to love that though? At free agency.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this that this kid's going to be arbitration.
And that arm's not tired
at 24. So he's going to be a very wealthy man. He'll probably pitch 20 years in the big leagues too, but make a lot more money than his dad did. I think the Dodgers are. Well, I think the Dodgers are still the best team in baseball. They're banged up. Like if you looked at last night's lineup, you didn't recognize 3 or 4 guys in that lineup, and they still came back in the 8th and tied it up and had a chance to win it. And second base for the Padres made a great play, but consistently, I think there's no question the Dodgers are the best team in baseball.
Are the Dodgers and the Padres the more heated rivalry now on the West Coast than the Dodgers and Giants?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Obviously, as more fans get in the stands all over the country, but I think over the last, 6-8 months with the free agency, and the Dodger fans cannot stand Manny Machado. They boo him like crazy, and yet he still thrives. I mean, he's a good player. Tatis is coming off of a little bit of a labrum issue with his left shoulder, but he's having to learn how to hang on to the bat with both hands. And he squared some balls up last night. I watched that game, and then and so even Drew Pomeranz is with the Padres too. Got a chance to catch up with him not too long ago as well. So I think it's definitely a heated rivalry. There's no question about it.
Yeah, the Padres, they're good. They know it, and those two teams, there's no love lost in it, and it'll be a passing of the torch when the Padres top them, and it might be a while. And tonight is Fernando Tatis Senior night. It's on this date in 1999. Not once but twice, grand slam off the same pitcher in the same inning. It'll never happen again.
Never happen again. I'll tell you this though, not bragging, but Wolo was covering me then. I did hit 2 home runs in one inning, but 2 grand slams in one inning is crazy. I did that at Memphis, not at the pro level.
Look at you. 2 homers in an inning is impressive.
That is incredible. That really is incredible. But in this day and age, there is no way a manager would ever keep a guy in to give up 2 grand slams unless we get the double hook.
Yeah, I like the double hook. I think it's a good idea. I do.
I like it too. I do.
It creates. It kind of is going to speed up the game, and I think it's going to create a serious amount of strategy.
I agree. 100%. I think it would be the best thing that could happen. If you're going to give me the DH and you've shoved it down my throat for all these years, this evens things out.
Almost 50 now.
I know. I think the double hook, in case people don't know what we're talking about, the double hook is a rule that's being experimented in the independent league. It's the Atlantic League. And it basically is, as long as your original starting pitcher is in the game, you have as a designated hitter. As soon as you take the pitcher out, you lose the DH. I love it. Love it.
You know what it's going to do? I think the Players Association is going to vote for it, too. It's going to create jobs.
Yes, you're right.
It's going to, all of a sudden you're looking at guys that are possibly in the American League on the backside of their career or whatever. Next thing you know, they're getting a shot in the National League. I think it's a great idea.
Tim, remember when people were saying baseball was broke and there was no money around baseball? Baseball's flourishing.
Yeah, baseball is going to continue to flourish. I tell you what they do need to do, and I think they're trying, but they got to do a better job of marketing to the young players, and not just young players, but continue to include opportunities to get the minorities involved and playing more baseball. But I think that's a challenge for them, and finding, guys like Mookie Betts and obviously Mike Trout for years. But they need to prop those guys up.
Can I make a suggestion, seriously,
Sure.
on how baseball could help? They're saving money. You just said they're flush with money, and they're saving money on their minor league system because they decided that was a waste of money. They didn't need that much in developmental baseball. Here's what they should do. They should take some of that money, give it to college baseball. And college baseball, which gets 11 and a quarter?
11.7.
11.7 scholarships. Give each team 8.3 scholarships. So they get to 20. Okay? And now everybody's got 20. So that'll be another 8 guys that suddenly will get to play baseball for free. And some of those kids that may be really good athletes that go, wait, I'm playing football or I'm playing basketball because I get to go to college for free. Maybe some of them will go, you know what, I can play baseball and go to college for free.
No, I think that's a great idea, Wallo. It really is. And they had talked about, not on the scholarship side, but they talked about trying to fund the colleges to swing wooden bats. Well, coaches are against that because a lot of the SEC guys are getting paid 6 figures to endorse their bat product and use their bat products. But so I don't think that's going to happen. But your idea is spot on. I mean, bottom line is they've got to get it not only to help the colleges, but they've got to get it into the youth level. And I understand what you're saying is, when those youth get into 12, 13, 14 years old and they start trying to figure out, okay, what's my ticket? Not to the big leagues, but to college.
Right.
There's definitely going to be looking at that. There's no question about it. And what's crazy is we talked a little bit about it on the show before, but talking to all these, even junior college coaches, it's the fact that they're going to allow players to transfer and be immediately eligible one time. I think it's huge. It's huge for the player because oftentimes it doesn't work out, and coaches for years, and they're doing it right now as we speak. They're calling players in and saying, you know what, probably need to find another place to play next year because you're not going to play here. Well, the player could say, you know what, I love it here and I'm staying. Well, they have to honor that scholarship. So typically, if you've got a player that you recruited, he doesn't want to stay there. He wants to go play. Well, now the player can do that. But what's going to happen is, just like you talked about on the show about Penny, and he's going to have to work harder because now all of a sudden these college baseball coaches are not only going to be recruiting high school and junior college players, they're going to have to recruit their own player every year to stay.
Correct.
You got a redshirt freshman who you really like. You got money in him, but he's not quite ready. Well, someone's in his ear saying, hey, man, you could go here and pitch immediately next year. There's no guarantee you're going to pitch here because, look, they redshirted you. We wouldn't have redshirted you. We would have played you. So it's going to create – and then you've got to figure out how by bringing in the one-time transfer is going to affect your team chemistry and your philosophy. And because you really want to mentor and teach these kids how the system works, because ultimately that's what's going to win you championships and get you to Omaha.
It's a different world. There is no doubt.
It really is.
It is a different world. Thank you, Timmy. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you.
You got it. This portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. I love bragging about those Genesis guys. That's Vinnie Gerard's group now. They've been together for a while. They are top 50 in the country at selling Genesis cars, and this product is so good. You know about that. G70, G80, G90, they got on the lot. Now they can't get the GV80 because they sell out all the time, but they got a demo. Call Vinnie Gerard. Ask him about it. Top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, number 1 or number 2 in the district, depending on the month. It's all about service. Every car gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, but every car, new Hyundai, new Genesis, gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. Why? Because they want to take care of you. That is what Chris True has this group that's been together so long all concentrating on. They've got the product and they've got the service. That's why they're so special at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We'll take the break. When we come back, it'll be crunch time.
You have opinions.
Like a splinter in your mind.
driving you mad? We want to hear them. Call the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 70236.
The summer of fun is here now at Mario's Pools. Hi, everybody. This is Dave Woloshin from Mario's Pools on Exeter Road. That beautiful pool, well, it just doesn't happen. So call Mario, and his team will be right there to guide you every step of the way if you want to do it yourself, or they'll do it for you. If you need a replacement pool liner, Mario has the best price against all the major competitors, and by the way, the best selection. Call Mario's Pools, easy, 552-3399. That's 552-3399, or just walk in, so easy, in Germantown on Exeter Road. The great thing about Mario is he always takes that extra step. He gets to know you and your pool. He'll do everything he can to make it perfect. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. You can check out the reviews on Facebook. Don't be a slave to your pool. Call Mario Pools today, 552-3399.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
The Jeep Celebration and Ram Truck Month is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Check out 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $22,490 or $287 a month. Command the road in your 2021 Dodge Charger XST. We Gossett at $29,499 or $394 a month. And if you're ready for some adventure, 2021 Fiat 500 X-Pop all-wheel drive, $21,990 or $279 a month. And they're not leases, you own them. We Gossett all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, so drive past the rest and come to the best. 1901 Covington Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade MPM 44,788, MSRP 26,240. Charger MH5 12,542, MSRP 32,860. 500X MP 88,7786, MSRP 26,830. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/21 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We busy with the deal, we get insane.
Final portion of our program brought to you by Conway. Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make this the perfect time for you to buy new technology. You get a Visa gift card back if you get a Carrier Select Infinity system. You'll get $1,500 back if your system has one unit. If it needs two, like front of the house, back of the house, upstairs, downstairs, we're talking $3,000 in Visa cards. Ooh, that's nice. And if that's not enough, how about an April air cleaner to get the dust out of the house, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. State-of-the-art, newest technology. That's about $2,000 in freebies. And John's making it easy with payment plans as low as $139 a month. Anybody can do that. Just call Conway, 384-3511. It's crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello,
Boop! Get you!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave, I learned today the Browns are very committed to Baker Mayfield, and why wouldn't they be? He's 23-22 in 3 years. That may not sound like gangbusters at a lot of places, but 23 wins in 3 years is one less than the Browns won in the previous 7 until he got there. 24 wins in 7 years, 23 in Baker's 3, and he's got pressure on him. I think he's proved a lot, and deep run next year in the playoffs for the Browns.
They picked up
my Browns. That's going to be my team
Browns.
next year.
Well,
my Browns.
They picked him up, and they picked up that cornerback, Denzel Ward, as well. I learned today, speaking of football, 901 FC went back into their old roster, and they picked up a guy named Rashawn Daly. Daly was on loan a couple of years ago from MLS, and I don't think things worked out, but he's now going to be with the 901 FC again. He's a pretty fun player to watch. So Rashawn Daly will be back. What could you have done without?
Could have done without the draft questions that linger around Mac Jones. Did people not watch college football the last 16 games he played, the 13 last year and the 3 into the previous year when he had to fill in for 2 after he got hurt down at Mississippi State? He played more in those 3 games than the Bison Flash, Trey Lance, played all of last year. I swear there's times I don't think NFL watches college football that close. I really believe that.
I agree with you. I could have done without the news. Michael Foster, a 5-star high school prospect out of Phoenix, he's decided to go G League Elite. I keep going back to Jalen Suggs or Jalen Green. Both great prospects. Who ended up doing better? I know Green got the money on the front end, $500,000 to play with the G League Elite. Suggs got the experience, and he's going to get, I think, the better money in the NBA. What are you keeping an eye on real quick?
Grizzlies this weekend. Yep. Go Grizzlies, and 22 NBA games over the next 3 nights. They haven't had a game canceled due to the virus since late February.
We thank Bruce Marshall, Jason Munz, Andy Schiffman, Tim Doolin, and Barrett Jones. Don't forget, coming up in a minute, Ole Miss and LSU baseball. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.